content.
Rolling now, yeah.
Oh, man.
We need some more food though.
I know, for
Get
real.
some food out here. Bring us some food in here.
We got some food, get some libations pouring. Let's do this.
do
So what we
this.
saying? Black History Month, baby. It's Black History Month. Oh, man.
So, I'm saying, first fairy tale killing that I'm going to do is the idea of Black History Month. For me, Black History Month is nothing but the missing parts of world history. So we should call it World History Month. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the first fairy tale kill. But since we got that out of the way, now we can get to the nitty grits. I don't know where we're going to start. If we start at the beginning, we're going to start with blackness. That's all it is. You get what I'm saying? So, since, according to the archaeologists, anthropologists, and all sorts, we seem to be in a position of the eldest people on the planet. Now, I've heard of this black supremacy, black, this and that and that and that. And I've been battling for the last couple of months cultural appropriation. You know what I'm saying? Some people claim to be Greek. You're not Greek, bro. You get me? Real talk, bro. Go on. Yeah? It could be, exactly. Oscar Nazim. You get me? Kaiser. You get me? Yeah? You know what I'm saying? Like many of these civilizations, whether it be Roman, whether it be Carthaginian, you got no. And then when we go Islamically, it could get sticky for your dog. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, most of this history and the biblical history is down to black people. You get what I'm saying? I mean, the Muslims will say that Adam was a black man. Do you get what I'm saying? And I wonder if through Adam, his lineage goes all the way to Muhammad. And I'm saying, if they're all one family, then I don't see where the change is going to really kick in unless some foreigners came in and changed the DNA. But until a certain point, while these texts, or before these texts were written, these were entirely different shades and different types of black people. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm fed up of the impression of thinking that everybody who comes from sub-Saharan Africa is of one color. You get me? We need to stop this myth as well. Do you get what I'm saying? This is a fairy tale. Do you get what I'm saying? We are all varying degrees of blackness. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, just between the three of us, you get what I'm saying? We are similar, but things. Do you get what I'm saying? We're not even blue black or super black like, some of our brothers and sisters. Some of us even wish for such things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I was blacker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but really, the bottom line, I do believe that a lot of as I said, the biblical history, if we're saying the Abrahamic religion, was Abraham a black man? You need to check that out. Do you get what I'm saying? These are just small things, do you get what I'm saying, that why we stand on this side and people say to us, oh, you lot think you're black supremacists, why is it Kemet, why is it this, why is it that, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, no one else is telling these stories. You get me? We went for no Titan TV. You get me? I don't think most of us would be here. I don't even think the interest in Speaker's Corner would be as it is. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, big up to Kalam for that. Do you get what I'm saying? And obviously the medicine man, well, you know what it is, isn't it? Straight up. You get what I'm saying? Green, white, green. You know what I'm saying? All day.
Hey, if you know, you know.
You know, innit?
You saying, Gabz? Talk to them.
Me personally, I think obviously we're talking about black history. One big thing, especially that we're obviously over time, especially now with the generations that we have now, especially the youth. My main thing is dealing with the youth, the younger generation. The whole thing about black history and knowing their history and stuff. We keep saying this like years and months after month is very lack. Do you know what I mean? It's lack to the point where, we see in our areas where we grow up, the violence, knife crime, all the stuff that's going on. And it's because most of the young black youth, they don't have nothing to draw to. There ain't no cultural pull or any history, something that they can gravitate to. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and I think some of this is to do on our elders, maybe parenting as well. We're not really educating our youth and showing them most of these histories. Maybe because the adults, our parents, haven't even been taught. Do you know what I mean? Right. That could be because of religious ideologies, you know? Certain parents like, no, don't talk about this. African history is the devil.
It's demonic.
It's demonic. So maybe that might play a part in it. But one thing I will say is that we need to start encouraging reading and getting back into the books and the teaching again, because, you know, as time is going on, like everything is getting more lax, more lazy. The youth don't really care. They're not on it. I'm talking about young black youth. So we need to start pushing more for reading and getting back into the proper history, not Malcolm X. You can do that, but Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all the Harriet Tubman. We need to start going back, way back. You know, start to get to the beginning, like where we can find like proper archaeological stuff. Do you know what I mean? Proper digs and paintings and carved cave paintings and all this stuff, and start teaching the youth proper stuff, because, like I said, it's running scarce.
Jeez,
You know what I mean?
I like that.
So-
And I wanted to actually touch upon like the purpose of Black History Month. I was watching a video the other day. I think it was on Instagram. It was funny. It was a white guy. He was like, "What is this Black History Month? Black History Month? Like, isn't that a bit racist? Imagine if we had White History Month." Hold on. Question. In school, we had a subject called history, right? Yeah, history. I'm sure in every single one of those lessons, there was no mention of blackness, Asianness, or any other ethnicities. It was always about English and other Europeans and their history. And as a black person, you're feeling lost. Like where do I fit in? The only way is there. Like, remember going back to Bible school? And like, the only way is there, and then this one begot that one, and that one begot this one. And I used to go to like Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witness? No Jehovah's Witness. I used to open up that book. Like, that book was beautiful. Like, with all the pictures and the colors. And I'm there flicking. I'm like, come on. And I still wasn't able to find myself, yeah? So, you know, it's really important for us to actually have some sense of identity of who we are and where we've come from and what we actually have to offer for this world. And I hate black history in a sense, because a lot of black history is just talking about the transatlantic slave trade. And it's like, hold on. Out of the millions and millions of years that human beings have been on the planet Earth, and before the genetic shift and change took place where other ethnicities could even be born, meaning the lighter skins, before that could even be developed, they were quote-unquote melanin, negroid, African featured individuals, right? That was their prevalent. But now we're just starting at 400 years ago of slavery, when black people, and I'm going to say a group of black people, not all black people, mind you, a group of black people were at the most lowest point in history. And people wonder, like, why is it in the black community that there is so much problems? One of the problems is the myths, the stories that we tell each other. And then we start to self-identify with that. And we're just taught that we're only slaves and we're only niggers. You know them ways there, we're the lowest of lowest, and you come from poverty and you come from being animals in Africa. Like, how do you expect us to behave?
Exactly.
How do you expect us to behave? Nothing but animals and nothing to do like the savagery. That's what we're acting out, full stop. But if you start telling the youth, the black children, again, I don't like the term black, because there's more to this blackness than just black. You see what I'm saying? We've got our Ugandan sister, we've got a Sierra Leonean, you get me, Nigerian, but we have different ethnicities. We have Nigerian, we have Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, continue, we've got Somalians, we've got Darud, Issa, continuing, and so forth and so forth and so forth, right? That is what we need to be getting into. The actual ethnicities, and talk about the greatnesses that each one of those ethnicities actually produce in the world. And not just the one, standard. No, there is so much diversity out there that we should learn and we should appreciate. Again, the purpose of black history, baby. The purpose of black history. I'm trying to bring back some pride into us, you know. And again, I don't really like talking just going back to millions of years and thousands of years and so forth and hundreds and so forth years, yeah. I like going back into like near history. Near history. My brother talked about it just a minute ago. The history that we create every single day of our lives. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the greatness of Gabz. You know what it's there? Like, I want us to talk about that. I want us, Hey, come on! Like, there's so much greatness, you know. Like, even our parents and their history. Like, sometimes they try to shy away from that. They don't want to talk about those things there. Our grandparents and so forth. Like, some of us have parents that's been inside of the World War. And we don't even know that. We just think it was just a whole bunch of Europeans fighting a whole bunch of Europeans, not realizing that there was a whole bunch of melanin people from Asia and Africa and the West Indies that actually came in and fought. Like, why are we learning that ish? Why are we learning that? Why are we learning how it was when we first arrived in the Windrush era? Why are we not learning that? Why are we not learning about hundreds of years when we as black people came to this country as tradesmen and trading? Why don't we learn about that? So we have to start to, like, I don't know, recreate black history. We need to start recreating it. And we should really and truly call it world history.
World history.
World history, because we're worldwide. We're not just, I don't know, slaves.
We're indigenous.
You know the way it's there? We're indigenous to nearly every single part of the planet Earth. Except from maybe Antarctica. I don't know about that. See me, I like the sun, so I don't know about Antarctica. But anyways.
You still find us one of us there, still. Always. You get me? Selling handbags.
Any questions? Anyone wants to throw in any questions?
Yeah. Anyone want to ask anything? Yeah.
There's probably a Nigerian in Antarctica, right?
That's what I'm saying. Selling Louis Vuitton. Yes.
I got some Louis for you.
I got the gloves to match. You're like, yo.
Hey, so yeah, I think what we're saying, let's just get some questions in and stimulate some conversation.
Come to, get
I don't know why this brother's behind the camera.
Get in there. And Issa, get in there, man.
Come on, Issa. Issa, baby.
Issa, baby.
Again, this is Black History Month, baby. We're making history.
No, but we ain't got some beautiful black woman there as well.
There you go.
Come on.
And we ain't seen them in every video.
Chase. Head wrapped. New with earrings. Chase. There we go.
Okay. You know what it is? Let me throw my 2 cents in there.
Let's go.
There you go.
You're talking about history.
Yeah.
All right, it's like something that Gabz was talking about. I just want to elaborate. How can we start making the future? How can we, as young Pan-Africans, as you know what it is. Let's be honest, innit? Like, change the future for our kids in the continent and abroad. Because really, if we look at the demographics, we're dying there. We're dying back home in Africa. Because you know me, I'm Afrocentric. I always like keeping it African, and we're dying on the streets as well. So I just wanted to ask the brothers, you know, betterment. I think that's the next focus, so that's my question, isn't it? Like, how can we take it to another level? What do you think on that? And just coming into unities and learning to see each other as brothers and sisters, not distant strangers, you know? A great poet once said.
Yeah, so I think some of those things we do naturally. You know what I'm saying? We all have our own communities. We do weddings, we do, you know, family functions. We even do meetings. Women's meetings, men's meetings, tribal meetings, chief meetings. You know what I'm saying? We do some meetings.
There, you know?
We do some meetings. We do some gathering together.
Let's get them Kola nuts out.
Should we start calling it tribal meeting now? We need to do more tribal. I mean,
It's real talk.
Betterment. That's my angles. That's key.
I don't know about the betterment bit. That's where
more unity and more. Like, I'm trying to say,
Only
focus
use the word
on.
betterment because
I'm trying to push Afrofuturism. Personally, I'm trying to push that. Right? And if everybody's looking at me like, what the hell is Afrofuturism? Like, nigga! Like, what? All right. So Afrofuturism, actually, let me give you a good example of Afrofuturism. Wakanda. Yeah, Wakanda.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. That there is Afrofuturism. And I like that. You see how the way, that whole concept of Wakanda brings about a culture and a sense of pride. The first thing when man said Wakanda was what? You see the way it's there? Like, imagine that.
Big up Ryan Coogler, the director of that. Another
Sick.
brother, all cast, and it shows you.
We're coming for you. We're coming for you.
Come on, sister, do you want
Because I'm thinking, we need to start painting. Hold on. I'm thinking that we need to start painting pictures or visions of the future that our children can start living up to.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Let's get
sisters, always. Sisters are always
and
up,
Gabz.
you know.
Oh yeah,
Gabz, go.
To answer your question, I was just saying, I think one of the ways we can do that is through exclusion, because I think a lot of the time, like if you look at how societies develop, most of the time they focus on themselves, and it's an exclusive thing where people that don't share your vision, or don't share what you're after, have to be excluded.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with us is we're too welcoming to other people, you know, it's and I think it's hurt us in the past and it continues to hurt us because we want to be sort of accepting to everyone, even if they don't have our interests at heart. So I think one way we can start that is by saying, sorry, this is for us only, you're excluded. Because a lot of the time, especially now, things have been like brought into like not just black people, but people of color. So then that allows people to just pick and choose parts that they want and joining the conversation when really their struggles are different. And that's how you get people who are like, you know, maybe Arab or North African saying, oh, we're people of color too. So even though they're non-African, it gives them the license to sort of try and almost in a way sabotage. And if you allow anyone to just join in, then, you know, like your train's going to be like going left, right and center. So I think one way is to just like, you know, build firm barriers and boundaries. And then, so then we have the time to actually, you know, organize ourselves before we can actually go forward.
I've got a question, something that's in line with what Kalam was saying and what you're saying, sister. It's about building a Wakanda and building something future, building for, my thing is building for something better.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because the European system, Maku is always, it's not working for them? It's never worked in Africa. It's not our ways.
Exactly.
Should we start getting just how they do their things and rebuilding our own, like destroying these borders, free trade amongst African countries? That's what I try to push, you know, get the economical stranglehold of Africa. And like Ethiopia, Djibouti's already started train lines, take these borders away, and start building our own version of Africa, not like the West, not trying to copy, because we're different. Africans itself is diverse. Look how many Africans are here.
No, just to piggyback on that, it's interesting that you bring up Wakanda because if you watch Black Panther, you read in the comics, Wakanda is actually exclusive. It's shielded,
exactly.
and it's not like the reasons why they're
thriving.
The murderous character in it, the two white men that were going in, and the African American guy, was because
Black history, it's Black history.
Oh,
very unique perspective.
You got my camera on that.
No, you don't need your camera.
You need to send me what's going on. Alright, cool. What's going on? Hello.
Yeah, in a movie they talk about Wakanda can't be found anywhere, and where is it, and why they're hiding from everyone. And it's because they were hiding vibranium, because they knew that if they told the whole world, hey, look, we have wealth and riches here, so anyone can come and get it. And if you look at history, obviously that's our best teacher, is Africans selling things that we don't deem as worthy, like gold, diamonds, all of those things, because we're not materialistic people in that sense of the way.
Even though like we did a lot of like that stuff before, like metallurgy.
Yeah, exactly. We had our own systems of economy, but we don't have the kind of greed of like of expansion of the Europeans. And others might argue, but that's not the case.
So does Wakanda exist? If you think about it,
Wakanda is more of a concept than I think it's of a. It's not something that will just manifest itself.
Really?
By us thinking about it.
I've been to Wakanda.
Where?
I've been to Nigeria.
Yeah, but if you look at the society of Nigeria, you can talk about, like on the outside it looks like Wakanda in terms of the way it looks, but when you look at it, there's a lot of societal problems within Nigeria that is rooted ever since colonization.
So wouldn't you think that would be the same in Wakanda?
Not if we talk about what Gadi was saying previously about being exclusive. The problem is Nigeria has already crossed that line where they're no longer
we'd be exclusive in the things that are negative, innit? It'd just be us. So even still, things will still go on, innit?
Yes, it
you know
would. But
we'll have our own system of policing and all of that type of thing. Remember, we're fully in control. So don't we have that already? We do.
Yeah, we do have that, but we still have our blemishes.
Yeah, but we
do
have
still
interfering
of people. Not only that, but there's people who, because the term African has become so, it's anyone who was born there, anyone who's just like you have white people in Zimbabwe, South Africa, who whenever there's a discussion of Africa, they'll be like, yeah, well, I have an African passport and I have an African citizenship, so therefore I own the land and I'm qualified. And a lot of Africans do accept that. And even if you look in America, for example, you have everyone claiming that they have some sort of Afro-Latina in them, even though it's like 1 point something percent mathematically, it doesn't really make one of African descent, or it doesn't really mean anything mathematically or scientifically for that matter. But still, like people walk on and say, yeah, you're part of us, and you could participate in Black culture, you could participate in Black joy. But then if something happens to the community, everyone's like, well,
I'm not African. I'm only 1% African.
That's not. Yeah, it's only my great granddad that I'm not associated with. So people pick and choose, and that's to our detriment. Because at the end of the day, we walk around the world as Black people, and we can't hide our Blackness. Whereas people who who lived in Africa, who are white or North African or whatever, they can say that the African when they
Like
want
if I
to.
lived in
And they can
Sweden for 10
switch
years.
identities when
Yeah,
it suits
exactly.
when
They
they want to be
have that
African,
flexibility.
when it suits them.
Yeah, so when it comes to Black History Month, how many white South Africans do you see are jumping around
Exactly.
talking about, oh, Black
So-
History
so-
Month, this,
so-
this,
so-
even the
I mean,
end of
what other
apartheid,
people
really.
had a golden age?
We don't have a renaissance, that's what we don't
No,
have.
I mean, what other people had a
Yeah,
golden
dude,
age
yeah, I
other
kind
than
of agree
us?
with that. I kind of
about
definitely
time.
agree with that.
So
It's about
then-
time we do, though.
So then,
Exactly.
So
That's
then,
what we need.
So then we had the formula.
Yeah,
The formula exists, doesn't it?
right.
Right. So if you have a golden age, you get me. Nobody else. People having dark ages, all
Right.
sorts of ages, but they're not having golden ages. Right. Right. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even in complete golden ages, there's not 100% serenity.
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody wants that.
yeah.
Question.
To me, I'd rather
Question.
Africans fight other Africans
Yeah.
than have Africans fight themselves, and on top of that,
Yeah. Fight and
random
oppress.
individuals
Right.
who then put their 2 cents in,
Right.
who can also leave when they have the luxury of
Yes.
leaving.
Right.
Because if we look at the case of South Africa, when apartheid was finished, white people were
Off to
given
Australia.
free citizenships to Australia and to New Zealand. Meanwhile, black people are still getting killed there. So black people don't have that luxury. So when they say this black on black crime, I can sleep at night a little bit about that because I'm like, at least it's like black people fighting other black people. That's a different
Right,
dynamic.
right, right.
Whereas if somebody else, an outsider coming in, for example, if we started fighting Europeans right now, do you think me and you will be discussing this the next day? Do you think we'll be given free citizenships to go elsewhere? No. So it's at the end of the day, it's not really necessary for us to then start critiquing ourselves without really looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because when we start fighting amongst ourselves and then having that discussion of, oh well, these small Africans are fighting, this tribe is fighting that tribe, then we fail to look at what's happening behind us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We fail to look at the enemy that's moving in silence because
So
we're being loud.
and we haven't learned from history.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? We haven't learned from history.
That's what I'm saying. We need a renaissance. We can't.
Well, it's not our history,
I
is
want to
it?
know about this.
that's-
I want to know about this
that's the problem.
Renaissance
Because like
and the golden.
history starts with like the problem with it's like the history starts with a backdrop of us already failing, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whereas their history, it's like, oh, we have this thriving empire and then this happened. With us, it's like
Exactly.
y'all never had an empire. It
In
just
the first
started
place.
like you know. It's
Yeah,
always like it always starts like in the backdrop of us already, like you said,
Like
at our
you're
lowest
saying,
points. Yeah. And obviously that's how it starts. Then it's hard for you to because imagine if someone says you guys started savages, then you're going to think, well, no matter how high I get,
I'm
I'm
always
going to
gonna be a
revert
savage.
back to that.
Yeah.
Which is what like Shakespeare does in Othello. You know, he's you know they describe him as a savage and whatnot, and he rises up, but then what happens in the end?
He
He falls
falls again.
You know, he falls again. So that's why we have to go back pre the history that we're given, pre the narrative. You know, in
Yeah.
order to be able to return back to that, because if you
Exactly.
think we're returning back to slavery and
Yeah.
whatnot, you're gonna subconsciously it's gonna affect you.
And that's
I
what
want to know,
Renaissance
how are
is.
golden ages and Renaissance created? That's the question.
Through chaos.
Woo,
how it
someone
starts.
drop some knowledge on
It's
that.
through
Because
chaos.
right
you
about
can't-
now,
destruction starts from creation.
the
Like, you
African
can't-
diaspora
That's right.
needs a renaissance.
It needs a
So
renaissance.
They need
those
a
who want-
yeah,
rebirth.
yeah, and
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
like
this is what I'm agreeing.
status quo right now.
It has to
Yeah,
start
this
with
what we
what
have
it
right
is.
now needs to be destroyed.
Destruction. It has to
needs
start
to
with,
be-
yeah, exactly. It needs to
Okay.
be burned.
The-
And
Let's
from the
talk-
ashes,
what about
that's
full
the only way
leadership?
we
Let's
can
talk
rise.
it, baby. Let's
That's
talk
it.
it.
Another one.
That's it.
It's
So
full
that's the point I
leadership.
tried to
Yeah,
make.
I think a
exactly.
generation has failed us.
And what you tried to
Exactly.
make.
I
With
agree.
me, I
Yeah.
say personally, as a
you haven't got the
Somalian, as a
invader-
refugee
Sorry.
for 32 years,
Yeah.
I say a generation of poor African leadership, like you're saying, a renaissance. I think that needs to be all scrapped as well.
So what we're saying right now, destroy and rebuild, right?
Definitely.
That's-
All right.
to me,
That's
that's
what
the
I'm
only
doing
way
for myself.
forward.
You know,
All
the
right.
whole of Africa. That's what
All
my
right.
plan
Because
is.
we're
So
carrying too
let's
much burden.
destroy all of the institutions. Let's destroy all of the concepts, all of the ideologies,
Get rid
and
of it.
let's
Because-
start off at a flat plane. I'm saying mentally though, yeah?
Okay.
Mentally right now.
Yeah.
We're doing it mentally. I'm not
Right.
talking about going out on the streets and revolting them bazookas and blowing shit. No. I'm talking about mentally. Let's just
Yep.
level foundation and let's create. Let's create a Wakanda. Let's create a utopia. Let's create a renaissance. Let's give birth to a new African and a new
But
African in the
even within
diaspora.
the new Africa, even if, again, if we lose the example of Wakanda, we see the Dora Milaje, the women. They were, their characters were inspired by actual tribe in the Kingdom of Benin,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
women would protect the king.
There you go.
And so you look at spears and you think these are primitive weapons and blah, blah. But in Wakanda, even though it's a futuristic civilization, they're still fighting with spears. Because
Yeah.
for Africans, spears are not seen in the European lens of that's a primitive tool.
I wanted to
Even
say-
though
I
they
wanted
were
to
out
say
here
something.
guillotining people,
Even though
and
under
it's like
guillotining people,
hanging people,
tomahawks,
Yeah.
Vikings. with
Forget
their
them.
little
Remember,
knives.
remember, we've just destroyed them.
Yeah,
we've
that's what I'm
destroyed
saying
them.
is-
So let's keep them dead.
Fake
Let's keep them buried. Let's not even
Yeah.
resurrect their
His
ghosts.
story, his
Let's
story.
keep them
His
dead.
story.
Yeah.
All right. But I like that. We're going to pull from our past and our past
Because
that was filled
our
in
past
glory.
is nothing to be ashamed of. When I say from chaos, or when I'm saying from the ashes we have to rise, it's not to say that we turn our backs, because obviously our ancestors, their deaths and their fights were not for nothing. They did what they could at the time with what they had. But that doesn't mean we can't learn from that.
That's right.
Because that's only what makes someone wiser, is the fact that we learn, and the fact that we take sage advice from our ancestors. The way that they fought against, the way that they resisted the people that attacked them, that's why we are living right now, is because of their resistance. So I think it will be wise for us to not look at that as something to leave in the past and say, oh, that was the primitive way of dealing with things. Like concepts like democracy and capitalism, all of those were things that were brought in the advent of colonization. So I'm saying if we look at the structures that we've had previously, which is what made Africans strong in the first place, because we've existed for how many years, right? It will be smart for us, theoretically first, obviously, to look at those structures, as you were saying before. No, I think it was you were talking about archaeological facts and kind of digging back and looking at that. I think that would be a very important first step to take in terms of then building that renaissance. I think anyway.
Come on, baby. Let's carry on. Let's lay the foundations.
I'll throw in one rule: no outsiders. And we all know what that means. Subliminally. Let's talking cold. Africans. I'm talking cold. That means we need to share one language. So I say Swahili has to be the core. I say one language, or maybe a language where we go back to the African ways where we need to.
Swahili has its Swahili has a huge foundation in Arabic. It will not be clever for us to be running around kumbaya here and there.
That's what I say.
I'm just saying we have to throw something along them lines.
I'm just saying
one currency. I'm talking about one currency, free trade.
If the Europeans were able to do it with Greek and Latin, why don't we do it with one of our classical languages, which is Medu Neter? That's me putting out there. Sorry, Medu Neter is hieroglyphs, ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. Let's put it out there.
A black van man. You're the type of guy that I wanted to ask this question. We're trying to talk about building a Wakanda.
Building?
A Wakanda back home for new African civilization. As black van man.
Would I be welcome being born in this country?
That's a good question, you know? That is a good question.
Being born here?
No.
No.
No, first you need to have a detoxing. After you have your detoxing. Yeah, detoxing.
Detoxing of what?
Woo!
What makes you assume that I need detoxing?
I think that every single one of us inside of Western society needs a detoxing. So it's not just on you, it's all of us.
Alright, what would you say that I need a detoxing?
I don't know you personally. I'm saying that I'm saying
I
don't know you personally, but I know that definitely you, you and me, we all need to be detoxed from the system and society that we've been brought up in. All right, in order to go into a perfect society, 100%. Because otherwise we're going to be bringing our mess from the past into that perfect society, and that will crumble straight away.
Where's the perfect society?
The perfect society is in the conception of our minds, and then afterwards it's in the materialization.
There is no perfect society right now.
No.
We go back to Africa right now.
No.
Oh God,
it's not perfect society, is it?
No.
We're in England. You said we need to detoxify.
Yes.
So wouldn't you just say that every human needs to detoxify?
100%.
And just reevaluate 100%. In the way that they think.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But because we're not speaking about everybody else right now, we're speaking about Africans in the diaspora, or Africans and Africans in the diaspora. We're going to keep it into that context. And we're trying to create a foundation of how we would create that utopia
I think
for ourselves.
It's just to sidetrack. I think it's quite funny because I saw a comment on his live feed. That was talking about Africans have made no contributions and there be nothing in terms of what they've done, which I think is quite laughable. I don't know if the person is still writing the comments, but I think it's quite funny because
the question is, what ain't we done?
Exactly. When you look at pop culture, when you look at popular culture, and you look at what is the most emulated culture in terms of music? Exactly. When you look at rock and roll, Elvis in the South, in Graceland, what is he listening to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was having a debate with one of the what do you call them? The European individuals who was talking about who was.
We understand. We're speaking cold, sis. We're speaking cold.
Yeah, because I wanted to say.
Come on, Moto. You know Moto. You know Moto.
Yeah, and he was talking about, when we talk about when cultures meet, inevitably they share things. And so when black people were singing in the fields and the plantation owners heard it, so therefore they were influenced by that, and then that kind of gave rise to Yeah, when we say influence, we mean then
Rock
the
and
white
roll,
person will
early
go and
balloons.
they'll sing and everyone will pay them, and then the black people at the back and they get nothing. But they were adamant that with things like music, you can't have ownership over that. There is so in that regard, you can't copyright that. So in that regard, then if black people have not contributed materially, like when they bring up Shakespeare and all of those other white people, they said there is no black person that's like that. Our only claim is hip hop music and all those things. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I was going to say one thing, and this is one thing that I did get from the Wakanda film, which is a very big part. It's the reason why I brought up the whole thing about us getting our artifacts back. Because when you look at all the history, when you look at every history, especially the Europeans, the artifacts and the things they have is it's like the route to help propel their civilization.
Exactly.
And they're stolen. They didn't contribute anything, but our artifacts were all stolen.
Well, all taken.
So why are you taking it? It's no contribution.
So they
I
think
took my
that
little
going
niece to the
into
London Museum and then I went to the Africa section. I'm thinking, okay, why can't these people return all of this if
They
it
don't-
belongs
no,
to?
listen.
We know who it belongs
Yeah.
to. We know where you got it from.
Who made you the gatekeepers?
But not even that. But
No,
not
that was
There's
an
another
interesting
thing of interfering.
exactly.
Sorry, I was trying to finish
There
the
was
point.
sorry, yeah, go
I
on.
was going to say, but one of the main parts of the film, especially Wakanda, is the bit where what's that guy?
Michael B.
Killmonger
Jordan.
and the mask.
Yeah, when he goes to the museum. Like, this is the bit that you really know.
Killmonger.
This is the bit that resonated in my mind. He went to the museum. Remember, he hasn't been to the continent. The diaspora.
Yeah. He's
He
a
didn't
diaspora
know.
as well.
He was asking the lady question. Excuse me, like, where's this from? Like, you know, all these things. And she was saying this, and he was like, no. But this is from here.
By the way, the museum is in London. The scene, the
understand?
museum is in London.
Yes. And then you see the woman, the African,
Yeah.
the woman showed him.
So what I'm trying to say is, just use it, just understanding that alone is showing you that our youthful generation need to understand their artifacts and where it's coming from, what part, and their history. Because once you deal with that, it will slightly help, bring some sort of foundation and clarity into.
I mean, when you look at like the study of Egyptology, so when does going into like the tombs, those were sacred places. So when does history then become like when did grave robbing stop as a concept? When did because would you see me go into Highgate and start digging up
things.
digging up people,
See,
like
like Egyptian
digging
history.
up authors or digging up Shakespeare? Do you think people will be like, of course, take it to Africa, show
See
everyone
that Arab,
Shakespeare? Meanwhile,
sorry, go on.
no, that's okay.
I got the gist of what you were saying. You, like, quite basically, you're saying that our culture and our stuff's being hijacked.
Yeah,
Culture appropriation, basically.
All right, and misappropriation. I've just listened for like 5 minutes and that, and I heard a lot of emphasis on this Wakanda thing. Yeah, like, ain't that a Hollywood film? Let me finish. Ain't that a Hollywood film that was created by the white man or like that? So why are we as a people, looking on that and drawing so much inspiration from it to be like, oh, shouldn't we go and build our own of Wakanda? Or like, it's a figment of someone's imagination. I don't even know who made that.
That's why I said.
The Black Panther comic was written by a white person.
That's why I made the point.
I understand what you're saying.
That's why I made the point. It already exists.
Yeah.
In our various countries within Africa, because people don't go there, they don't know what it's like. They're just talking from an outside point of view and taking from the same media people about the country. Do you get what I'm saying? You're not going to go back to Africa and build nothing new. This is a reality. You're going to go and you're going to conform and assimilate. Do you get what I'm saying? This is the facts. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you, and if anything, we mean not necessarily.
I wouldn't go to Africa and conform and assimilate.
So what would you do?
I'll go and do my thing, innit? Whatever I want to do.
And you think that's not African?
For how long?
For how long? 1 second. You think that's not African?
Whatever, I don't like.
Do you think that's not African though? That's what I'm saying.
I
wouldn't know.
I
wouldn't know.
You've never experienced that before.
I've never
I
experienced.
know I had to conform a few
So hold on
times.
1 second. You've got principles that you've never experienced before.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
But
So
I don't
now
like
you
certain
at least
ways.
know.
I don't like certain. There's certain things in Africa that I don't like. And I
Right.
wouldn't conform to.
Okay, you wouldn't conform, and you would be allowed to be free and allowed to do what you want to do, and you already know that because you said it.
Don't you think that's the same in this country though as well?
No,
You can
fuck
say
that
what you
shit,
want.
Gabz. Are you mad?
You can go in there and go F to the, you know who.
And what does that
over
mean?
in the palace or
Can you
whatever,
change
do whatever you
anything?
want.
Can you change anything?
Of course you can.
How?
Do it. What are you talking about?
Change? How are you going to
If
change
you've
anything?
got the mentality that you can't change nothing, how are you going to change
All right,
anything?
you're in the oppressor's house. You're in his house, right? Right?
I don't see him as
Basically.
an oppressor personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're in his house,
Yeah.
right? Now you're jumping up and down, yeah?
Yeah.
Making noise,
Yeah.
saying, oh, I want to, you get me?
I want to what?
I want to be free.
No, I'm free already, though.
Oh,
I don't know what
free?
you're talking about.
Then the program's worked.
What do you mean? I understand that.
Then you're in the Matrix.
The program. What program? What program?
You don't know what program's running.
No, listen. You're trying to run a game on me, like.
Let's
in my
get
mind.
back on track, though. Let's get back on track.
They are trying to run a
Let's
game.
go back on track,
All right,
man.
cool.
They are trying to run a
In
game.
my
on
mind,
you. Yeah.
I'm free. Yeah.
Right.
In my mind,
Right.
I'm free.
Cool.
I can do what I want. I can go wherever I want.
Yeah.
In your mind, how are you
He has
imprisoned?
to say. That's what Martin Luther
So
King said.
I'm saying, right now, yeah, this is a colonial country. Like they
Yeah.
colonized everywhere else.
They did
You know
colonize
what I'm saying?
everywhere else.
So
yeah.
when I go home to Africa, yeah, they are colonized people. Do you know what I'm saying? Unlike slavery,
Depends.
that only lasted
It
for a
could be in the
particular
jungle,
time.
he ain't
One
colo-
second.
the guy
one
in the
second,
jungle's not
one second.
colonized.
Only like slavery that lasts a particular time. Let's say from the 1400s to
What
the
jungle?
1600s or whatever, right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Are you gonna take that person?
Being
I'm
colonized.
not taking it
One
personally.
second.
I'm not taking, no, I'm not taking it personally. I just find it interesting.
They're like, the conditioning and the programming is working. We can see it. God damn it.
No,
No. Alright,
it was
so-
just being ignorant.
Am I ignorant?
But I'm saying-
Because we were talking about, wait 1 second. We were saying the people, he said the people in Africa are colonialized.
Yeah.
So I'd say the people in the jungle ain't
I'm
colonial
not.
because they
So
never
the
know
person-
experience.
So the person leaves the jungle.
But they
and
never
then
had no
does what?
experience.
So they're confined
No,
in
wait.
there.
When
and
he's in
they-
the jungle, he never experienced colonialism because he's still there.
But they have.
So what is
Yeah,
he
but
there?
they have.
What is he while he's there?
How
What
many
is he
people
while he's there
have gone
then?
in there with their little cameras
My
and
brother,
said, "Oh, look at
what
these
is he
Africans
while
who've
he's
never
there?
seen everything."
What-
anything
what is
before."
who?
They're aware.
What is that same guy while he's there? While he's in the bush,
Yeah.
separate
He's a native.
So
is he free?
Of course he is, in my opinion, yeah. Why not?
So-
he can do what he wants. Why?
When he goes out,
so he's never
when
allowed
he
to
goes
leave.
out, he's suddenly
So
uncivilized.
I'm just saying.
conceptually, he's free.
No, no. All
But
right,
if
when
he
he's in the
gets-
jungle,
So those are
if he
labels,
wants to
yeah.
come out into society, and that's his choice. But where he is, there's people, there's societies, there's people in the jungle, yeah. I remember I've never been to Africa, so you right? There's
Right.
people there.
Yeah, no, I know
we
you
could be
haven't.
talking
That's why
about.
you're saying
We could be
jungle.
talking about.
That's why you're saying
All right,
jungle.
listen,
tell,
all right, let's
you
just
can
take it to South America,
tell.
in the Amazon.
Right.
There's people in the Amazon, yeah, that have never been discovered. Do you understand? They're in there, and they ain't never seen a white person. They ain't never seen
But do you see
anybody
the
else.
fires
But
They've
you
seen
can
world,
see
though.
the fires,
Pardon?
the
They've seen world,
fires,
though.
or them shooting at the helicopters that are trying to expose them. And
getting a
they're
smaller and smaller
aware.
place for them.
There's a lot of natives.
Who's struggling to
Amazonians who get
survive
out
and
and go to the Brazilian government and try to talk, just like the San people in South Africa, because they like living in the jungles and to them that's like this is our life, let us
Yeah.
be. But they can't do that.
They can't. They have to
Because
plead
They have to
and
plead
beg
and
to
beg
actually stay in that.
white people
The
can't go
Maasais.
and poach in front of them.
Exactly.
The Maasais, for example, they were kicked out of
Exactly.
Kenya because they refused to conform. And so the Kenyan government was like, well, if you don't want to conform, well, we like they have this mentality where they think that if they shake hands at the UN with white people, then automatically that welcomes them into this group and that gives them some kind of upper hand from the village Africans or the jungle
Exactly.
Africans who don't understand anything.
They get
And-
master's favor.
Yeah, exactly. They get the house slave favor, which is, to me, that's another big detriment to black people, especially in the context of Black History Month, where
Exactly.
then we start debating on who is free and who isn't free, and because we're free, therefore...
Who cares if you guys don't
Yeah,
feel
because
free?
I can say whatever I want.
Ain't it something in your mind?
Okay.
But that's what Martin
What
Luther
we're
King
trying to
said.
say-
That's
what we're
what
trying to
Malcolm
say
X
about the
said.
Wakanda-
That's what
Why would you
Mandela
say that
said.
I'm in prison then?
But
if
that's
it's in
what
my
we're
mind
trying
that
to.
I'm
No,
free.
hold on. We're trying to say that the Wakanda thing is a state of mind.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And also a real physical place.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's where we differ.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, you're saying that there's certain things that you don't like that they do in Africa,
And over here as well.
and you haven't been to Africa.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Slavery in Libya. Don't like it.
Those
Right.
aren't done by Africans.
Is that by Africa?
Those
Yeah, that's
weren't
not
done
done by
I
Africans.
don't care
Africans
who
are-
done it. Is
Oh,
it
you
in
don't
Africa?
care
You
that?
asked me a question about
captured
in
it?
Africa.
Okay.
Now you're getting onto semantics about you said in
Well,
or you
because
said
no.
I'm not really
But
like
the
that.
semantics are important though, because this is Black history.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about Africa.
Right.
Yeah, you said something in Africa. I
Right.
said I don't like
So I'm
slavery
saying where the
in
Wakanda
Africa.
is-
And you was like, oh, no. So you're putting something onto it when I said something. You said something, I answered it directly what you said. And then you
Yeah,
said,
and
oh,
then
we're
we're
talking about black
clarifying. But we're
we're
clarifying because what you're
There's loads of
saying
things
is
in
a
Africa
blanket
I don't
statement.
agree with. I don't
And
believe
that's
that,
fine, but you
I don't
brought
believe
up
black people are treating each other with the love and the like
Yeah, and
it looks like like you're ripping each other off and it's survival of the fittest. And I don't really subscribe to that.
Really? And you live in England?
Yeah.
The masters of it.
Now, see, you got a victim mentality
I got
still.
what?
Victim mentality.
Victim of
Victim
what?
mentality.
Yeah, victim mentality.
Victim of what?
Because you're like, what did you say to me? I'm like, what? What did you say?
Oh, yo. Hold on.
Bring it back a little bit.
Real quickly. But you know what, yeah? We're going off topic, you know?
Mad?
I know.
We're going off topic. Let's get back on topic.
We're trying to build something.
You see, when I got 4 people
But
talking
it's kind
to
of
me as
relevant.
well,
It's kind of relevant.
like, it's all good. I ain't got no problem with talking to all of you at the same time. Yeah, I've got no problem talking to you at the same time. Yeah, but when you take something that I say, like we're live now, and I just say one statement, you can't be going, but you said in, or you said or you said thingy. Let's just get back, clarify it, and move on. You get me? It's not about me trying to catch you out, or about me. It's not about me trying to catch you out, or you trying to catch me out.
But that's what we were doing.
That's the game I'm playing.
Because that's what discourse is. Like, we were trying to have a discourse with you. So we were clarifying your point. So then you weren't just saying,
I hope I'm not coming across as a
there is slavery happening. No, but that's the point of a debate. We're fine. It's not a, like, we're not taking this personally.
We're not taking it personally. We're just trying to clarify.
We're just trying to clarify the point, just in case, because it is, as you're saying, it is
there are
live.
people
So there might
watching.
people who think that, oh my God, these Africans are slaving each other in
So
Libya.
it's for the audience as well to clarify
so
that's that's going on, so they know as well that it's not us.
Because when we talk about
enslaving each
Africa, it's a complicated case. It's not when we talk about Africans, like. That's a title that was given to us. Africans have never walked around calling each other Africans or black for that matter.
I think a good point is that if you're going back here, it depends on where you're going. Like obviously, if you know the slavery in North Africa, that's the last
if you go to
place
Libya,
you're
you'll
going.
be very surprised what kind of Africa.
Africa could be amazing, amazing continent.
Give me another one.
You might not. You won't be
if
free
you
to
go to North Africa.
Well, I don't like what's going on. I just feel that Africa's not in the place where it should be.
How?
It could be a lot better. Could be a lot better. From my perception, I have never been there.
Who gave you the perception?
I have never been there.
Who gave you the perception?
I get, you could say, many different sources. Mainstream media. That's one of them. That's what I'm going to say first. Prominently, mainstream media. That's the first one. And then I go on YouTube all day. And then you might do something about Africa, or you might do something about Africa. The world's changed in the fact of how we get information. So it's not just mainstream media I'm going to go and get my information.
Right.
You get me? I get my information from many different sources. Many different sources. So I'm not saying. I'm just saying the perception of what I've got from someone who was born in this country. I've got African roots, partly, you understand? So I've never been over there, and this is how I look at Africa through my eyes, being born over here.
And we can't blame you.
You can't blame me.
We can't blame you because that's.
But I'm saying some of the things
what would you blame
don't
me
like,
for?
though. Some of the things you don't like. Some of the things you don't like, though. Some of the things you don't like are worse here. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't understand how you don't see that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the criminal stuff, the thing. It's
They
worse
rip each
here.
other off.
You understand?
Fun
So
here.
it's
There are
something.
elements over here that are worse than Africa. as well.
So
Let's talk about us, though, man.
We say
Talking
capitalism.
too much about them.
Yeah, is what we live in.
Well, I
innit?
think
A
that
capitalist
we're all
society.
humans, you know, at the end of the day, you know, bro.
I know, I hear that.
Humans.
But you know what,
According
yeah?
to some people, we're not humans, we're animals. So
Well,
We came from the jungle.
some people, yeah.
Some man said
came from the jungle, bro.
Love it.
I'm a god. I'm a god.
I'm still in the jungle, so that's what it is.
Do you see yourself as superior to white people?
There's not.
Do you see yourself as superior to white people?
I just see myself superior to everybody else. But that's just me. That's just me.
I like that. That's something I like.
But I mean, the point is that our people are the oldest on the planet. So
what?
People can put to us that we feel superior, yeah. But this is what they're telling us. Do you understand? So these same Europeans, you know what I'm saying, are telling us that we are the oldest people on the planet. Do you know what I'm saying? So we have to look at that.
We are the oldest people on the planet.
With a mantle of pride, though.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
okay. We are
And
the oldest
respect.
people on the planet.
Now, the reason they don't respect certain men is when you don't know that.
You know what it is.
No, I know that we're the oldest person on the planet.
Right.
How do you
So
feel that we
if you want
portray ourselves now?
If you want the white man's respect, yeah, you have to have knowledge of self. Because what he's doing, yeah, is going to your country, yeah, Africa, to enjoy, yeah, to do business, to dig for gold, diamonds or whatever, every bloody resource. Even us
as well.
Even us as a resource. Kidnapping us and blah blah blah. They've been doing it from day and they ain't stopped.
You know something? I watched it. I see someone was taking a flight over to Africa. not so long ago as well, yeah.
Right.
And when I looked at the people that was on the plane, yeah, it wasn't white people that was on the plane. It was bare Arab man and Chinese man on the plane, you know.
Okay.
It weren't even white people. So I don't understand why it was bare Arab man and Chinese man.
Of course.
You know what I mean? On their way over to Africa.
Of course.
So I don't understand why we keep on talking about white people.
Let me explain.
There's all sorts of people going over there.
Let me explain.
Ain't the Chinese over there right now building roads that are rubbish?
I got this.
Right now, and when it rains, it floods right over the road and stuff. No one ain't saying nothing about the Chinese.
We are.
One second.
Everyone's a trial.
Everybody can get it.
One second.
I should have recorded this. I need a copy of this.
One second.
The Chinese are building roads in Africa.
Tell me more.
Right. So you're
No, I'm
building
talking
roads.
about the demonization of white people because
Okay,
what I'm saying
okay.
there's loads of people over there in Africa. Enough people over there in Africa are taking advantage of using capitalism as a way to get over there and do business. But what we're only concentrating on as it seems like we're talking
So
about
who
black
owns the
people and
country
that.
still?
I'm with you.
One second. Who owns the country still?
I don't even know who owns.
So say like Nigeria. Say like Nigeria, for example. Who owns
They're all corrupt. I
Nigeria?
don't trust none of
Who
them.
owns Nigeria?
No, they're all corrupt. Somebody corrupt owns
Who
Nigeria.
owns Nigeria?
Somebody who's
It's a
corrupt.
colonized country. It is part of the Commonwealth of the Queen.
And Sierra Leone.
And Uganda and Sudan.
Okay, so what
And
do
it
you want me
keeps
to say?
going.
The Queen.
And Zimbabwe.
What do you want me to say? The Queen.
So it's here,
Queen-
right?
does
It's
the
England,
Queen-
right?
does England
It's
get
white
money?
folks,
Do
right?
they get money?
It's England, right?
Do they
It's
get
white
money?
folks. So they're most significant, right? So even
not
though
to
they're
me, not to
cousins,
me.
hold on one second, one second. Even though they're cousins,
Come on.
even though they're cousins, like the Orientals and the Asians and the Arabs are coming into Africa.
Yeah,
Where are they
you
coming
mind
to?
about them?
Where are they coming to?
Why are you
Where are they coming to? They're coming to a place that their cousins already own. They've already colonized us. You get what I'm saying? They're naming themselves, they're naming the places after themselves.
What are you going to do about it then?
Now it's what we're going to do.
That's right.
You let me tell you something.
So
Let
at
me tell
least
you something.
acknowledge it first.
No,
though.
listen.
At least
if
acknowledge
I felt
it
the way
first.
that if I felt the way that you felt,
Okay.
I'll be in Africa right now fixing shit.
Okay.
I'm telling you. I'll
Right.
be over there
But you
right
don't.
now.
Everyone's answer
But
is
you
always
don't.
like, everyone's answer is always like, well, if you think this about Africa, then go back
Man,
there.
go Africa.
Why don't you then?
Man,
But
go
all the,
Africa,
it seems
though.
like all the
You
smart
ain't been,
minds.
though.
Listen, it seems like all the smart minds and
You
stuff
need to go,
are trying
bro.
to get out of Africa.
You need to
it
go,
seems
bro.
like anyone when you get educated. That's what I'm saying from my mainstream point of view.
Yeah, mainstream,
my
yeah.
layman's point of view. Yeah.
Told
From
you.
what
That's
I
a good
can see.
caveat onto it. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, if
From
say
what I
somebody-
can see,
from what I
and from
see-
all over
Yeah.
the world, I'm not going to just take it to Africa. From India, from all of those places, the best nurses, the best thing is they're not getting paid enough money where they are. So
Really?
they're seeking
why is
something.
that?
And why is
Then why
that?
is
So
that?
if a
Listen to
country
me.
is
All right,
corrupt,
let me finish. Listen, you
That's
don't
a
like to
myth.
blame people. All right, so why are they coming over here and doing it
That's a
then?
myth.
This is why
Is the richest woman in the world coming over here?
I don't know.
But you see,
But you see,
I don't
it's
know.
Sorry?
like
Talking about
I
normal
don't
shit.
know.
our
No.
resources
The
were
richest
taken
woman.
and brought
Hold on,
here.
wait. The richest woman
Our
in the world
resources were
is a
taken out
Nigerian.
here.
One second. The richest woman in the world is a Nigerian woman, right? And she ain't leaving Nigeria. And she made her millions
But
in
even that, it's like
Nigeria.
our
But
You can
my
make
argument
millions in
is-
Nigeria
no,
now.
and
You
bought
know
here.
that. If you've
My
got the know-how, if
argument
you're
is-
edified,
who built these something
made-
like
Yes.
that?
No, but my
Bro,
argument
you're
made
edified
billions
in a certain way.
in Nigeria.
Edified in a certain way, you can make money
Drop it out, bro.
anywhere.
Drop it out. So you don't think we have
Wait,
doctors?
wait
You don't
a
think we
minute.
have
Of course
nurses?
we got
If the
doctors.
doctors and nurses are
I'm
coming
saying
from
loads
here.
of them are coming over here though.
People who are born
Loads of
here
them.
by force.
Yeah, look, why?
People who are
And is
born.
it still?
Why would you
is it
want to
still-
come to this
it's
cold
not affecting.
cold
It's not
country
affecting anything.
if Africa's so nice and it's a myth? Everything's perfect in Africa. We
That's
coming to
not-
this cold
no one is
country.
saying that.
Because the
Why you coming
colonizer,
there?
the man who colonized your country, one second, the man who colonized your country has sold it to your people like that. Yeah?
Yeah, if someone says it's great,
Sold
that's
So
to
they're
your
getting
people
tricked
like
over there to come over here.
Not tricked. I'm just
then?
saying they've given them the impression that things will be better.
And mind you,
right?
it's-
So some
and
of them,
mind you,
one
why
second.
is it so
Some of
great?
them for it.
Why
Some of
is
them
this
will walk.
place so
Some of them
great?
will walk 3 years.
innit?
How did Great
Hold on,
Britain
listen,
become-
listen,
how did
listen,
Great
listen.
Britain
The
become
honest
great in
answer
the first
is,
place?
the honest
Doesn't
answer
matter.
is,
Yes, it
they want to
does
have sex
matter.
with white people.
Not no
Yes, it
more.
does matter. Yes,
It doesn't.
it does matter.
Not no more. It
It
don't.
will always matter.
Not no more. How about that? You can't change the past.
coming to
What can you change about the past? Don't get me started. What can you change? What can you change? Nothing.
My
What can you change?
can't read the benefits.
Mr. Raps, what can you change about the past?
The benefits of
You
it.
look
So
over
here I am. End of.
Marty McFly. Yeah? Who's Marty McFly? Back to the Future. What can you go and change? Can you go and change anything, Mr. Raps? Content over everything. What can you go and change in the past? You can't change shit. What you can change is the
You'd be
future.
surprised.
You believe that?
What you believe that?
surprised.
You can change it.
Hold on,
then,
hold on,
brother.
you didn't even believe. Hold on, wait. You didn't even believe Wakanda.
I'll change.
You get me?
I'll change
It's
a
all
million
still
things about
Hollywood.
my own life if you can go and do that.
How you gonna say Back to the Future and it's Hollywood?
But it's like
That's your confirmed fact.
these countries
Change the past at one specific period. At one specific period.
You man
That
are
timeline's going to be
complaining.
changing.
Straight.
This is how you change the
All
past,
time.
but you don't
You know
change.
when people watch it
This is not a timeline.
for hundreds of years.
You do this.
You just like
You
fuck off,
rewrite
enough of
history,
that.
and
Telling you.
you put yourself as a victim.
And you think, hold on,
No, you don't come back.
you think they respect the guy,
Hey, I
yeah,
don't
who's
even want
like,
to say it to
oh
you
no wait,
much. Yeah,
you
yeah.
think, yeah, but you think they respect the guy, you think they respect the guy, yeah, who's an apologist for them. You think they respect you? Do you think they respect you?
apologist.
Do you think they respect you?
No.
Okay,
No,
cool.
no. Whether they
then why are
respect
you
me or not.
apologizing for
No,
them?
listen.
Why are you
Whether they respect
apologizing?
me or not, I don't
What?
care.
Yeah.
I don't care whether
But
they
they
respect
like
me or not.
your attitude.
I don't care
They
whether
like
they
your
respect.
attitude.
Look in my eyes.
They like
I
your
don't care
attitude.
whether they respect me or
Job
not.
done.
I'm here for a different
Job
mission.
done.
Let me come to you.
My
Let me come
mission's
to you.
different.
Job done.
Let me come to you.
No, it's
They
not
were
time.
successful.
Hold on.
Successful.
Let's go back on
This is why
track.
we
Let's
can
get
have
back
a
on
black
track.
van man.
Let's get back on track. Let's get back on track. This is why I detest the word Black history. And the reason why I detest the word Black history is because once you have black, you need to have the opposite. Is white.
Yeah, they
and
should
then when
have
we
white
talk
history.
about
Yeah.
when we
go
talk
on.
about blackness, we're always forced somehow to talk about white people or Europeans and so forth. I want us to not even go there. Remember I said I want us to
dead
destroy
argument.
that, destroy all of that nonsense, and let's start from a scratch.
No apologies,
Let's
please.
destroy
How do you start from scratch then?
that. Let's destroy
That's a
that.
good question.
I'm saying
That's a better question.
listen, this is my
And
philosophy.
let's go back to the glories
That's a
of
better question.
Africans and the African diaspora.
Right, I
Let's go back to
understand.
that.
Yeah, let's go back to the
Let's go
glory.
back to that.
a lot
Glory.
of nasty things happen.
You said something about the
Right,
in
right.
Wakanda, the woman. What's the woman?
The Dora
warriors?
Milaje?
There you go. You said something brilliant about that. My brother over here
Spears.
said something about archaeology. That was brilliant as well. I'm talking about creating a renaissance, creating a utopia. My brother said here, Wakanda is not technically real, right?
technically.
Technically,
Isn't it a film?
technically.
So it's
Not
Back to the
technically,
Future
ain't
though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You can't
So
go
it's
back to the future.
Just like, just like.
You can't go back to
You
the
can't
future.
back and choose, and you
there's
can't
no
use that as
Wakanda.
evidence.
Wakanda doesn't exist.
There's no Marty McFly.
Oh yeah.
That's my whole point. No, but listen. That's my whole point.
What point?
My point was that
What
you
point?
can't go back to the future.
What?
You can't go back to the future.
It doesn't exist.
I mean,
It's a thought in a
you
white
can't go
man's
back to the
mind
past.
again.
You
Remember.
Can't, listen.
Hollywood.
I think you misinterpreted me. You cannot go back in past. You cannot go back in the past and change.
There is
things.
no such thing
You
as the
can
past.
only
I say
change
you
the present
can.
and
but
moving forward. You can change the past.
I say you can. All right. I say
can
you
change the
can.
past.
You can.
How do
All
you
right?
change the past?
Because a lot of, how can I put it?
Educate me.
All is now.
A lot of imperial
That's what I'm
societies or imperial, what's the word?
What with history? How you dictate history?
There you go. They've
Yeah,
gone
yeah,
back
okay.
into the past and they've erased a good
In
amount
that
of
way, I'd
people's
agree with
past
you, yeah.
and
Well,
they
you can't-
rewrote
I
a
was
whole
talking
story,
literally.
right?
Yeah.
And they've got us thinking that we're not who we are today.
Yeah, okay.
You with me?
Yeah.
So the past can be changed.
So what
and
do
I'm
you
asking,
do?
listen. And I'm asking us today. I'm bringing forward the concept of Afrofuturism, right? Of us going into the past and changing it. Changing it.
How are you going to do that?
Changing it. I don't want to hear about slavery and 400 years
How you
of,
gonna do
of
that?
pain and suffering.
Last 5
No,
minutes.
do
all right? I want us to rewrite that.
Pissing me off.
I want us to rewrite that.
Every year, roots.
Because I'm pretty sure Africa is a massive continent.
What, they get you mad, innit?
Right?
Me too,
African
yeah.
diaspora is massive. Let's speak about the greatness that was happening all around the world. And let's bring in these greatness to construct a new future for ourselves and our children and our children's children. That's what I want to discuss right now. Can we do that?
We should be talking about like, the old mate,
Anything you lot
and
want.
all of these type of stuff. You get me?
Damn.
As you said, the artifacts. Once we got the artifacts correct, you get me?
Are them artifacts even ours? I thought it was an Arab man's artifacts,
shut
man.
up,
They're
man.
claiming that.
Man.
Tell me,
Stop that, man.
educate me.
All right,
What's
we'll
going on?
educate you, but don't make inflammatory
What's going on?
statements.
Listen.
That's not inflammatory.
No.
Are you so easily hurt?
No, I'm just saying, don't make inflammatory statements.
What, saying that it's
This
an
is going
Arab
out
man's
to the
thing?
world,
Yeah,
bro.
it's going out to the thing.
world.
When I go and watch Egypt and I see Egypt, I don't see no black man there.
Yeah, 'cause they
Yeah,
burn
let me.
them
So it's not inflammatory. That's the real. I go there at Egypt and I
inflammatory.
see Arab man
That's
there.
inflammatory.
Is it truth or fact?
No. Let me speak
Fact.
his
Arab
truth.
man
Let me
right
speak his
now.
truth.
Yeah, is
That's
it truth?
true.
Or is
Yeah,
it
right
when
now.
I go
Yeah.
to Egypt and I look at their history and stuff and they show me the history
Yeah.
from mainstream media, I see that, and I see Arab people claiming it as their history. You said that was inflammatory. When I look at it from, it seems like it's that's the fact. So you shouldn't take it as inflammatory. You should be explaining to me why you see that as a problem.
No, I wouldn't even make the statement.
You shouldn't even say
I wouldn't
that.
even make the statement.
No, but I'm not educated like you.
Okay,
You've
then
gone
why?
and read a thousand books.
Then you made a statement.
Those people
that
there are
wasn't
not
correct.
educated either.
Stop it, man.
Those people are not educated either. Remember I told you.
Hey, don't say
Remember I
that.
told you.
No, no,
Content over everything.
They're laymen. They're laymen.
Hey, come on,
Just
Right
like me.
City.
Just
Come on,
like me.
y'all educated. Y'all educated.
Don't take anything I say personal to you. It look like don't think it like anything I say to you.
Nothing,
Don't
nothing.
take it personal as a person.
Never can just water off a duck's back.
I hope so.
So, sorry?
I beg everyone move to
Yeah,
the,
no, because it's not true, isn't it?
to your left.
To the left.
Then you're being
You should
disingenuous. If it's
explain
not
it to me
true,
though, innit? Because I don't understand. Yeah.
But I don't understand how a man said he don't understand the statement he made. Like,
No,
who does that?
a reality.
Who does that? Who
It's a
makes
simple
statements?
reality what I see. I look on the television, I look at Egyptian history. When I look at Egyptian history, I see Arabs. I don't see black people. I see Arabs. You're
Where?
a learned person. Wait, you're a learned person.
Where do you see Arabs?
When I go and look on the television,
Right, on the walls?
yeah, or Arabs or
Reconstruction?
They could be North African,
Are
but
you talking about Reconstruction?
No, he's talking about the actual people within
You're
inside of
complicating
Egypt.
things, bro.
Talking about people inside of Egypt today.
Yeah.
That they are obviously.
Arabs,
No, they're not Arabs. They're not Arabs. Don't ever get it twisted.
Yeah, so you're getting caught up on. Yeah. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
They
That's what I
claim
meant.
Arab.
Adjacent.
You know
Yeah,
what
but
I
they
meant.
mix up. There you go. They're Greek.
Yeah,
They're Romans.
yeah.
They're Persians. They're
Okay,
Who's
well,
the
you're
everything?
getting specific
Who's the
with
history,
that
though?
with them, but then
It's the history.
let's see if
Our
they're
history, yes?
specific about you.
Our history,
I
yes?
don't know whether if it's Arab. They claim it like it's theirs
It's
or.
our history, yes? Claim, you said. You said claim.
Yeah, I
So
said
then
claim.
it's not yours.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Exactly.
I'm not a learned
But you're
person.
sure enough to know that they made a claim.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I can see the claim.
Right. To
With
things
my own
that are
eyes.
not us. That things that are us. They made the claim to it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know, but
Yeah?
you being.
But you're not seeing the other side.
no. What you
it's
gotta do is
mine.
explain it.
Yeah. And someone else has come and taken it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
that what you're
understand
saying?
that. Of course, I
Right.
understand.
You
I
searched
understand
it.
that. But what you got to do?
Now,
what you got to do is
name
you
me
gotta
another
explain it.
place. Everywhere we are, they've done this.
Yeah.
This is what we're trying to explain to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything
I
we've
understand that
done.
loads of
hold
things
on,
have been
everything
done
we've done in
to
history.
black people.
Everything we've done in history, like making the internet. Huh? A Nigerian man gave the mathematical equation for the internet, bro.
So what? It doesn't matter to me.
It does matter. It
Not
should
to me.
matter. Should be proud.
It doesn't. No, listen to me. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Nah.
And it's not because.
Yeah. But you're going to claim Europeans and back
Who
Europeans.
claims
With what
Europeans? I don't
achievements?
claim no
With
one.
what
I'm a nomad.
achievements? What
You
did
see
they
me?
do?
See
What
me?
did they do?
See Black Van Man?
No, man.
I don't claim no one.
You're
I don't
nomad.
claim Africa. I don't claim England. I don't claim no one because I'm mixed heritage. You know what mixed heritage is? I come from England. I was born here. When I go to Africa, no, don't be silly. When I go to Africa, they might call me English boy. You understand? And I'm not 100% African. I'm highly aware of the fact that my father is mixed race. My father's mother is white, and my father's mother is black. I got lots of mix up in my thing. So me coming and saying, oh yeah, I'm African, or I'm this, or I'm that. I'm not none of you. I'm a mix of all. I'm a mix of all of you. A hybrid. I see myself as a hybrid. That's what I see myself as. Yeah.
Hey, yo, mixed race fan, man.
Come on.
You know the ones there?
Mixed heritage.
Octoroon.
So when you
Van
go,
Man.
Octoroon Van
when you
Man.
go to when
Anyway.
you travel, if you travel outside
I've travelled
of
a
the
bit,
UK,
yeah, a little bit.
Do you?
Is that how people?
Is that
see
how
it?
people perceive you?
How they perceive me is something
A young
different.
British man.
Right.
How I'm perceived is something different because you go to mainstream media, I'm perceived as rap, hip hop, this,
Boy.
that.
So black.
You don't even see me like you've gone past the M25.
I understand.
Tell the truth.
I understand how
You
I'm
don't even
perceived,
seem like
but
you-
I don't use that
Bruh,
to.
Have you
I
been?
don't use that
Have
to
you
define
travelled the
myself.
whole of England?
Have I travelled the whole of England? No, but I'm going to.
I think you should.
Huh?
You look like a thespian to me.
A thespian?
Yeah.
What's a thespian, bro? Is that like someone who does speech and stuff?
No, like acting.
like acting like a storyteller?
Storyteller.
Like an actor.
So no, I'm more factual still. But yeah.
Not on this occasion.
Yeah, no, trust me.
Not when it comes to Africa.
Yeah.
Oh, beating it away.
The track.
What did I say?
You know what I'm saying?
What did I say? It was off the
You
track.
said modern media and all that. That's why you're off the
Mainstream
track.
media.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I said something 'cause in the fact of North America, North Africa, and the Egyptians, they claimed it as their. You tired? You look tired still or disinterested?
No, I'm listening.
He's always like this.
Cool,
He's always like,
cool.
that's the face he makes.
And the falling out.
Everybody step to the left a bit more. A bit more.
We're good, yeah? Alright, cool. You seem like you was offended when I said Egyptian culture, Arab man. When the reality of it is, right now, that's exactly what they're doing. So I don't understand why you're mad at me and you're not angry at them. You should be angry at them because I'm only telling you the reality of what's going on.
Okay, you're telling us that we got invaded.
I'm telling you the reality of when I look on the television and I see Arab people claiming Egyptian history as their own. And when I say that to you, you're angry with me. When really and truly you should be explaining to the people why you're angry.
Were you here like 2 weeks ago?
No.
Yeah,
You should have been.
You should just know better.
You should have been.
That's what
Why
it is.
should I know better?
You should just know better.
Why should I? I'm a layman, bruv.
You should just know better.
Why should I know
You know what I'm
better?
saying? The original Egyptians would be us, all these people around here, bro.
Yeah?
Everything we've done is me claim
Yeah?
that.
No,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I'm saying all the real Egyptians are standing here.
Those are the.
We're standing here.
See the ones that are claiming.
including
You
yourself.
see the ones that are claiming your culture. Because obviously, I'm not stupid.
Right.
I know that Africa, black people come from Africa, but it confuses me when I look on the television and I see bare Arab people. Do you understand what I'm saying?
In the place right now.
It confuses me. I'm like, where are the black people that are meant to come
Did the
from
statues
this
confuse
part?
you?
Pardon?
Did the statues confuse you?
Not really, because I couldn't see whether they were black, Arab, what. They look.
And on the
For
walls
me-
and the paintings, they're all black.
This is
There are
the
no paintings.
disingenuous.
White.
Disingenuous. What do you think? Alright, what do you think?
man.
Alright, listen.
I beg,
If you,
man.
alright, listen, if you think
Some
I'm
research,
disingenuous,
man.
yeah.
Come on, man.
What do you think my goal is? What's my goal?
What?
What's my goal?
What?
What's my goal? If I'm disingenuous, I'm ignorant.
No, that's
No,
it.
yeah, you're
That's
ignorant,
it. He's
yeah.
just ignorant.
He's
What am I
That's
ignorant
it.
to?
No, you already said it. You said you're a layman. You're ignorant.
I am. No,
And
I'm
you're-
willing to learn more.
Exactly, and that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
willing to. That doesn't make me ignorant then.
It's-
You know what? It's you lot, yeah.
No,
To those who
no,
have
Are you
knowledge,
gonna call me
to
ignorant?
teach, come on.
No, listen. All right, listen. You got. Listen.
It's when you're
calling
wrong.
me ignorant.
Hold on 1 second.
It's
Hold on,
not- it's not bad
my
to
brother,
be
my
ignorant.
brother, my
It's not
brother.
bad.
It's not bad.
Trust me,
It's
it's not
not.
bad. It's not bad.
But what comes with it?
No.
What
You lot
comes with
saying
it?
things out the side of your
What
mouth, and I'm
comes
gonna
with it?
explain to you why
Right.
you're saying something out the
Okay.
side of your mouth.
Yeah.
Because you mumbled out the side of your mouth that I'm ignorant. Yeah.
Yes.
I said to you that I'm a layman.
That's
yeah.
it.
So, but I said to you, I'm also willing to learn.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So that doesn't make me ignorant.
No, it does.
Yeah, it doesn't make me ignorant.
Yeah.
So you saying that makes you
you're
ignorant.
not willing
Do you
to
know that
wallow
makes you
in your
ignorant?
ignorance. That's
No,
what makes
that
you.
makes
Yeah.
you
No, it
ignorant
makes
when you say that.
It makes you're in a powerful position
exactly.
because you do not want to wallow in your
Because
ignorance.
if you're
You want
willing to learn,
I want to learn.
because if you're
That's
not
not
ignorant,
ignorant then.
That's
if
Bible.
you're not ignorant, then how are you
Take
willing
that
to
back
learn?
then.
No, listen.
Take that back. Take that
Why
back.
don't we just take a step forward and just close that last bit, just carry on with the
Who
conversation?
is-
Genuine wants to know a little bit more, so why don't we further on that trail?
Yeah.
Yes,
rather
Master.
than going backwards and highlighting what does need to be highlighted. So I don't know what your stance is concerned.
Black Van Man. Black Van Man. That's my name.
To know your thoughts on
Yeah.
So,
Go on.
Maku, teach him
Hold
about.
up. Something, an interesting point here. Whenever you try to explain what,
Oh yeah, leave that one alone. Leave that one alone. Teach him about Africans and the Arab invasion and why he's seeing Arabs claiming and appropriating.
I know a little bit
Also,
about the
if
Arab
you're willing to
invasion.
learn,
If
but
you're
you're not
willing to
ignorant,
learn-
that's a bit of a contradiction.
I know a bit
Yeah,
about the
that's an
Arab
oxymoron.
invasion. Yeah, I know about that.
okay, so you,
I know, but I want you
You know
to
what you should
explain
do?
it.
You should box yourself.
No, I just
Because
wanted you
you're
to.
not making no
I
sense.
wanted you to
bro.
explain it.
Go to
What?
school, read
I
it.
wanted you to explain it.
So
for
if
the
you
guy.
know,
No, but millions of people don't.
wait,
Millions of people don't.
as
There's
you said,
millions of people
you
that
get
No,
don't.
but you said
you
they
get
were
your
ignorant.
information from where?
You get me? They're not ignorant.
You get your information
You're the
from
one
where?
who's
No,
ignorant.
just wait.
I'm
You
not
get-
ignorant.
Where do you get your
Ignoring the
information
facts,
from?
yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
if you
ignorant
want
is.
to learn and you don't want to be an ignorant person,
yeah.
the British Library is in Houston.
Right.
There is
I come to Speaker's Corner.
yeah,
people
but
you
like
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you come after you've learned some information, then you come and then you have that
I
discourse.
don't need to do that. Shall I tell you why?
But
You know what
don't wanna be
ignorance
Shall I tell you why?
You know
Shall I tell you why I
ignorance
don't need to do that? You need
You
to
know what
understand my
ignorance
point.
is? Wrong
You don't
with a
want-
passion.
No. Shall I tell you what my point is? Shall I tell
Yeah?
you
When
I
you're
am?
wrong with a passion,
I'm a lame.
that's
No.
ignorance.
Shall I tell
I
you
know,
what
you
my
tell
point
me you're
is?
lame.
I'm not trying to be learned on anything. Because most of the country
what's the
isn't.
point? Sorry, but you're
Let me
not-
explain then.
Let me drop. Let me land.
Let me explain. Right, I don't claim to be learned on any one particular point. As you're a learned person, the way your face is set, you seem like you're a very learned person on Black history.
This is learned
When I
face.
look at that face looks like it's learned as. See that face? Learned. You see me? I'm not trying to be that.
Black history face.
Shall I tell you what? I'm not trying to be that because I'm highly aware that most of the country ain't trying to be like that either. What I'm trying to do is come and just get a general gist of what people have got wrong and what are going on. So when you're telling me I need to go to a library and this, half of the country ain't gone to the flipping library. I've never been to the library in my life, and I was smart enough, to critically, Africa started as a jungle. Let me tell you something. Africa, you lot can try and be all of that. Africa started as a jungle. There weren't no road. There weren't no road in Africa. It started as a jungle. So you try and be condescending and be like, oh, you don't know shit about Africa. Africa's that jungle. You was a jungle. No, but the fact is,
was a jungle.
let me tell you the fact. Was Africa a full jungle? Yes or no?
No.
Before they built roads, before they had roads and stuff, was it a jungle?
Who built roads?
Anyone. It doesn't matter to me who built the road.
There was no
There
jungle.
wasn't a jungle.
There was plain.
Whatever, man. There's a jungle,
Savannah.
same Ross Clark thing.
Forest.
Same Ross Clark.
Same Ross Clark what?
You see what? You see what I've learned about?
Same
See what I've
Ross
learned
Clark
about Speaker's Corner today? You don't think you're very smart by catching people
jungle-
out on very
the jungle-
small, insignificant.
the jungle-
Let me explain something to
jungle
you.
in
Insignificant.
Africa is
You know
Congo.
when people,
Congo.
you know when people learn a lot, yeah? You know when people learn a lot. And they try to catch you out on insignificant.
Triggered or is he not triggered?
I'm a layman.
Triggered.
Triggered? Oh yeah, I'm triggered. I'm triggered. Should I tell you why I'm triggered? Shall I tell you why I'm
That's what
triggered?
ignorant people do.
Because I got
That's what ignorant people
I
do.
got people. No, I listen to what you said.
Yeah, but it's ignorant because you're ignoring the facts.
Let men understand Black history.
You came with lies
I haven't
and you
called you a
said they're
name.
facts.
Have I called
Hold
you
on,
a
wait.
name?
You said they're facts.
Have I called you a name?
That's the
Have I disrespected you in
thing that
any
hits
way?
me. No, that's the thing that
Have I
hits
been
me.
prepared to listen?
Bruh.
Have I been prepared to listen to everything you've said?
Right, no, you've made statements
Have I listened to what
and
you
you ain't
said?
let man clarify.
Okay, yeah, you have. But you know what we should do right now? You need to step back somewhere, and we need to introduce some new voices into the conversation, because for the last 45 minutes, it's been about like you two kind of thing like going on.
100%. I'm happy to step away from
let's create another dynamic.
conversation.
Gabz, here you
This
go.
man, wait, listen,
Here you
wait,
go,
let me
son.
say something. Wait. Let me say something, yeah? This man, yeah? Look at this man's face. This man, 20 minutes ago or maybe last week, will look in my face, yeah, and smile. Like, yeah, walk on, blood. And you see the moment that camera's on, yeah? It's like you got a different kind of energy.
Nah,
Different kind of energy.
I never heard.
You
some of
see
the things
me?
you said.
You see me?
I never heard some
I'm
of
the
the
same
things you said.
person yesterday and I'm the same person today. Remember that. I don't change for no one and I stand on my square.
I am.
Black Van Man. Remember that, yeah? Black Van Man, I'm out. Peace. Love, blessings. You don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, Black Batman, don't go anywhere, G. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, stay here still. Gabz, I bet you come in. Wait
You look can't run me out anywhere. I'm still here.
No, you're staying.
I'm still here.
You're staying. We want to just show a new dynamic. A new dynamic. Gabz, I need you at the front. Maku, I need you at the back.
Yeah, me.
Some of victims.
I need you at the back. I need you
Straight
at the front. I need somebody else to come in, man. Let's change it up a little
We
bit.
don't mind, man. We don't mind. Anyone want to say anything?
Come, go on, G. Drop some knowledge then.
Depends what. Okay. I'm North African anyway.
Huh?
I'm a Riff, it's like a Atlas.
Oh, the fake Jew.
Okay. I like that, man.
Aye, and for the layman's,
That's me.
a snapshot of Black history or African history is this.
Wait,
Black people
Cultural appropriation.
are the greatest.
Oh,
Black
wow.
people create the most amazing things
Wait, no,
in
I
the whole
need to
entire
record
world.
this. Wait,
Hold
wait.
on.
Wait, man. I'm gonna need you to record. No, go
Black
carry on.
people are the best,
Come here.
and Black power. That's the snapshot. The reality though, that's a snapshot that everybody wants to hear, but the reality is not that though. It's really not that. We're just making it nice and layman for you to understand.
Yeah.
And the white man came in, stole, robbed, raped, and pillaged everything.
Yeah, that's the story.
That's the story, right? That's the snapshot, right? I'm not saying it's the reality though. I'm not saying it's the reality, but that's the snapshot. But let's talk some stuff now. Let's talk some stuff. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's talk some stuff.
They're not going through a lot, but I don't know to go up.
No, I was quite interested in what he had to say because I'd never heard it before.
Yeah, that's
he's saying he's getting all excited and took about 2 weeks ago and all that.
Oh,
and
who me?
Even when he came to me today, he said, I'm Black Flame Man. I said, bro, I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying?
But cut all that.
I've heard about you.
Cut all of that. Let's talk some Black history
I've
stuff.
heard
Let's talk
about
something
him,
good,
but,
man.
That's about it.
Let's talk something positive. Let's go. I want to hear something good. Come on, man. Edify us. Come on. Black History Month. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Don't ever get it
Let's
twisted.
talk. Let's talk. We got a Hebrew brother. Let's talk, baby. Come on. Come on. Because I got to go. My time is valuable. I got to go. Come, let's talk something, man.
Me, my boy, like I said personally, my thing
Jesus was black. Go ahead. Come on.
I'm maybe trying to go down that route. Yeah. You know
Where's Paperweight? Where is he?
Huh?
Muhammad was black too. Does it matter? Does it matter?
Come on.
Same space. All together one.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
The past is done.
Yeah.
It can't be changed. The future hasn't happened yet. It can't be prevented. The present is now. It's a gift.
Jeez.
It's only like, I'll get out or something.
Ay, that hippie vibe there, you know? That hippie vibe.
But unfortunately, it's my month, baby. You get me? Black History Month.
We can do that kumbaya shit another time. Let's go.
One second. Why would they only give black people a month? Right. No one else got one.
Hold on, no, stop that.
Bad,
Stop that. That's the victim mentality. Nobody didn't. No. Nobody didn't give us a month. Because one thing, you know, I learned this from Jack Nicholson, yeah, in The Departed. He said one thing these niggas don't know. Nobody ain't gonna give you shit. You need to take that shit. So we take that shit. Nobody didn't give us Black History Month. We took Black History and we made it our month, and then we institutionalized it in the UK and Europe. It's October, and in Americas it's February. That's the shit that we did.
Have you got a problem with Black History Month?
Let's do this.
Have you got a problem with Black History Month? Me too.
It should be called World History Month.
Yeah.
I think it should be just Black History, not a month.
No.
Why don't you just
Because
have
if
every
it's
day?
Black History, that's all the history.
Or
that we're
history.
talking about.
I think we should eliminate. I think we should eliminate
But I
black.
can't say
We should eliminate black.
history
Though.
when it's
I
his story.
personally think we should eliminate black. Is that
What about her story?
Yeah, her story.
her
What happened to her
story? Don't know about that, you know.
What happened to her
Because
story? Her story is more
it then
significant.
becomes he/she stories and
Exactly.
all sorts.
They're the ones who are going to carry on the genes. So, you know, I know.
Yeah.
You still need to qualify.
Qualify what?
If you don't want to use Black History
Yep.
as a term, you need
Yep.
to qualify to
Yeah, the reason why I don't want to use the term the reason why I don't want to use the term Black History or Black full stop is because that term was given to us as African people of African descent in a
Many
how can I put
different
it?
forms.
Yeah, in a binary system of
Many
black
different
inferiority and white supremacy.
You see, like when you go New
There you go.
York, yeah?
So-
like if you go New York, yeah, and over here we're just like Black History Month, this, that. There's loads of different kinds of black people, as you already know, innit? Like we got Haitian, but they identify themselves as Haitians. You got the Dominicans, you got the Nigerians.
Yeah.
You got many different kinds of black people who identify themselves, different cultures,
That's right.
different traditions and stuff. Don't you think we're doing a bit of a disservice
by saying
just saying, oh
That's right.
yeah, Black History Month?
That's how we should call it.
'cause we don't know.
We should call it world history, but Africans in the diaspora. Africans that's been around the whole entire globe, from England, all the way over to Australia, all the way over into China, all the way over into India, all the way over into the Americas and so forth. We worldwide, baby. We worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Come on.
We started this shit. This is the motherfucking thanks we get.
How do you feel? Like,
Straight up and down. Am I lying? You get
Hey.
me? We started this shit. You get me? And no one wants to thank us. Everyone wants to thank everybody else. To say, yeah, you know, this person and that person. Oh, weren't they great? But no one had a golden age. Still right. So I say we got the blueprint. You get me? We need to go back to the old ways if we're talking about moving forward.
So what?
Do you know what I'm saying?
How do you say that we are now?
Say,
Like we were great, we were amazing, we had amazing civilizations.
That's a snapshot. That's a
what's
snapshot.
happened? What's the deal now then? Well, where are we on the totem pole right now?
Totem pole?
Oh, you know that.
We got colonised, bro.
Yeah. So what's going on? So do you believe that that's just made it? It's fucked us up. Yeah.
North Africa's fucked. Straight up and down, bro.
We need to on the white man.
We need to take.
Do you specifically
we
blame
need
that
to
on the
take,
white man or the Arab man? Do you blame that
what we need
on the
to
Arab
do,
man?
we need to do like the Chinese man. Yeah. After we get bombed, decimated, and destroyed, we need to, as she quite rightly said, we need to lock ourselves away. Make ourselves exclusive and make sure we just build ourselves back up and take over the world, baby. World domination.
We need quarantine.
World domination, baby.
We're sick. Huh?
Reclamation. Speech.
Do you think, a lot of the
we need quarantine.
How we come together and we're talking about black history, how we can move forward as a people and whatnot. Do you think that a lot of this dialogue is demonizing white people?
That's no. Wait, stop. Wait. The agenda is quay.
Triggered now.
The agenda is quay.
Triggered them.
The agenda is quay, okay? And let's acknowledge that the agenda is quay.
Yeah, but
right? But the brother has got a point. Has got a point.
Thank you.
Because the moment we start, as I said before, the moment we start speaking about black, we have to speak about the opposite, which is white.
No, but
and the opposite put the blacks into that position.
Alright, listen, I was gonna.
And that's why I don't even like to
This
talk
is what I
about
was gonna
history
say.
in
This is
that
what I
manner
was gonna
because
say.
it's like
I understand.
I don't like that.
Yeah, totally.
Let's
Right,
talk
this is
about
what
greatness.
I was gonna
Nobody
expound.
else.
Yeah, I was gonna expound on it.
Yeah.
In the fact of like we always, and I don't believe that we should be talking about the demonization of white. We should be talking about how we should be getting ourselves better. But when I look at the facts, and as I said, I'm a layman, it turns out that it's a fact that Asian people had black people in slavery for a longer period of time, and it was much more vicious, and there's slaves in Libya right now. I'm like, raw, why are you demonizing? Why are you demonizing? Not saying that you personally are demonizing. You should be demonizing Arabs as well. Then, if that's the case, shouldn't you?
They should get it the worst.
We do.
They should get it the worst because they've been doing it for 1,000 years.
Anytime that we're talking about blackness and say every time we talk about blackness, why are we always talking about the whiteness? Why shouldn't we talk about the Arabness as well?
We do. Like the last 3 videos have been about.
I'm gonna go and look at the last 3 videos.
And the difference is. With the Arabs, it's very specific. Whereas with the white people, it's the entire of Africa. It's not just little sections. Whereas the Arab invasion is very specific. There isn't a Commonwealth of the Middle East or whatever that like most African countries subscribe to as much as they do to the Commonwealth. And so the examples that you're providing, for example, the country that I come from in Sudan, it was very specific, the Arab invasion, as of the whole of North Africa. So in that regard, it's a lot more complex than it is to in terms of with white people. It's out of Africa, then you have the Caribbean, then you have the Americas. There is that. With the Arabs, you don't have that. And so with theirs, it's much more localized. Yeah, it's much more of a centralized form of colonization. And the way that they've colonized African nations is different to the way that white people came along. And it's more of like a layered effect where they came, they left, whereas white people has always been a constant. And so why when it sounds like it's all white people, it's because that's the one thing that we know for a fact is a widespread part of black history. Whereas with Arabs, it's a lot more specific than that. So that's just what I have to say in that regard.
And also there's a legacy of European colonialism to this day. So countries in Africa are working with that model. That doesn't, it's not compatible with who we are.
Exactly. English is the language rather than Arabic.
Because man are like you.
Listen, Bunnimal.
Man are free spirit.
Bunnimal.
You know what I'm saying? So man want to do what he wants to do. So under the same colonial system that we have here, there, it's going to cause a problem. You get me? It's going to happen.
How would you change it then?
Breaking the program.
Well, don't you think a good idea for me, what I would have thought to breaking the problem is like, for me, I'm on a personal journey, of like, obviously I was born in this country, I've got heritage in other countries and stuff like that. So for me personally, I'm finding out personally whether I'm wanted in this country or whether I feel like, because people always say to you, go back. I haven't got a problem with going back to wherever it is I need to go, if that's what it is, that they want me to do. I ain't trying to stay in someone's house that doesn't want me here. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for me, it's a personal journey on finding, like, growing up in this country, and like, it's how I was edified growing up is a lot of things are at combat with each other. So it's a personal journey for me as well. Meeting people like you and talking to people like you, it's all for me to move forward. You understand? I might fuck off. I might be gone, mate, and go back to where I come from for real. Do you understand what I'm saying? Instead of staying there, complaining and being like, nah. Because I've been around Europe, bro. And I'm telling you, this is probably one of the best countries where you could be black and in a country that's not your own. That you seem that's not your own country.
That's within Europe, though.
That's why I said within Europe.
Within Europe.
That's why I said that.
I can't wait to go.
You know what I mean?
I'm just waiting for them to build my
What
spaceship.
you're saying is it's better than Spain.
Under the water somewhere.
It's better than Spain, better than Italy,
Rome.
better than Greece, better than all of those
Go
places.
Rome
right?
and see what they're doing, fam. You see, where you consider your brothers, so on the street selling fake Gucci bags, bro.
I think
Left,
some would
right,
beg
and
to differ,
centre.
though.
Alright, let me tell you, look, my
I'll tell you
master
what I
plan.
saw.
My master plan is this, yeah?
Let's hear it.
No,
That's what I like to hear, solutions.
It's real easy. It's real
Let's
easy.
hear it.
Yeah?
Go on.
Alright, so there's a few things, right? First of all, get your money up. Get your money
agree
up.
with that.
Get your money up. Every one of us should be millionaires in the next 5 years. Billionaires, really and truly. But let's just say 5 years. If you lot really are, the cream of the crop, black people have got all this power and intellectual genius.
You should be amazing
should
by
all
now.
be millionaires. Should all be millionaires. So get your money up. Second thing is we create a think tank that can create how can I put it? A cultural revolution. All right. So I want like scientists. I want artists. I want everything, like literature, everything, to recreate a new type of society and civilization.
What, in England?
Huh? Bear with me, right? Because this Earth is a massive place. It's a massive place, right?
Massive.
But one thing is, we're running out of land, right? Correct? But we're not running out of sea. And what I would do is take all of that intellectual genius and all of that money that we've all acquired, because we're all millionaires and billionaires, and I'll do like the Arabs do and create my own island. No, forget that. My own continent, and I will fill up that continent with people who are like-minded and who could follow the program. That's it. It's that simple. Game over. Kalas.
It's not hard.
It's easy. That's easy.
Hold on, wait.
Is that not easy?
Wait.
Yeah, simple.
Wait. But
together because you need to have a plan,
the
and
hold
system
is
of governance.
the hold is.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait.
as well.
I will create heads and chapters and chieftains, right? So I want you as my Hebrew brother to be the chief of the Hebrew section, and I'll create your own little Hebrew land, and you stay there. That's your own state. You govern it how you want it. I got my brother over here who is a
Celt.
A Celt. I love that shit right there. There you go. Them nature worshippers right there. It's the closest shit that we got to African tradition this night. You create them, you put their own little Celt land right there, and it's all good. You just fill up the rest of the continent with it.
Right, cool.
There's
So
no
with your
problem
millions,
it.
hold on, with your millions.
In the sea.
No, you create artificial land.
Yeah, like they did in Dubai with those.
Yeah. Artificial land. We should be able to be smart enough to create all of that, and then have natural things.
Anyway,
No, it's done,
the
fam.
truth of the matter is, you just
And I guarantee you, 10 years from now, 10 years from now, you see what I just said is going to start happening more and more.
Anyway,
that's what I'm saying.
The owner of the land, yeah, that's what you need to look at.
You've heard of permaculture systems?
Tell us.
They can green the deserts and a place in Arabia called Wadi Rum was literally desert.
Yep.
Not through any irrigation methods, through permaculture. They just lay mulch on the ground. They grow trees within that. The fungal spores that are always present in the atmosphere will lodge in that mulch. You grow the trees, they start to form a foliage above. So there's always water. There's always water in the air as well. And then in the desert, the water goes down. Yeah. And then in the morning, it rises up. Then it hits the leaves, and the moisture comes back down again. So you've got a self-rotating system of water that can be free of irrigation within 5 and 6
And
years.
this is happening right now in Wadi Ram.
Wadi Rum, they've already
Those are the things that we need to be doing.
Hold on. Did you not just hear that? Did you not just hear that, right?
You can need the hippies.
All right, I'm Googling that shit. But anyway, you look
Google.
Yeah.
Those are the shit you need to be doing, though.
Who owns the most land on the planet?
Tell me.
One individual.
Tell me. Educate me, bro.
Go on. I want my brother to tell you. You get me? Because all of this is just going round, round, round. You're going all the
Who
way
is
in
it?
outer space and everything, and you're gonna end up over there in Buckingham Palace, knocking on her gate,
She's
asking
got
her
3
for
million,
land.
3 million acres. She's got 1.5% of the UK.
The most
That's 3 million
land
acres.
on the planet.
Yeah.
She owns whole continents.
Right. Oh,
Check it out.
true. Right, yeah.
You get me? So the original landholder, the person, right, straight up, the Commonwealth of the Queen. So she owns continents.
You see when you
she
look
owns
people say the
little obscure
Commonwealth.
islands, Falklands. She owns.
Right,
You
let
get
me
me?
ask you, you see the Commonwealth, do they gain monetarily still now in it, like, do they still get taxes from those countries, like is it Zimbabwe and all of those places?
Everywhere.
They still get money.
And on top of it, on top of it, they've got all your natural resources anyway.
You take the Green Revolution, the 50s, 60s, when you had the real industrialization of farming. So the World Bank and the IMF gave third world countries loans on the basis, they were called structural adjustment plans, on the basis that they would develop modern monoculture in the third world. And that basically opens up the soil, they use plows, opens up the soil to dehydration from the sun and from the wind. And those systems require fertilizers, those systems require pesticides, those systems require herbicides, and basically a whole lot of water, huge amount. So all the water in Africa has been drawn up in wells to go and irrigate crops that are mostly destined for animals, so that people in the northern hemisphere can eat cheap meat, and that those animals are held in the most disgusting, abhorrent conditions.
But what about for all these third world countries? I mean, if all the resources are there, how could they be third world?
That's the term that they framed it as.
All right, cool. At least we all accept that. You get what I'm saying? It's a mad thing. You know what I'm saying?
I've learned something so new today. Anyways, let me not even talk.
What did you learn?
Bruv, I learned about permaculture. I never heard that shit before in my life. I heard about there's hydroponics. I knew about that one. I knew about that one. I'm not that dumb.
But the most important point to consider is that monoculture is extremely, it's not robust towards a drought or flooding. So if you have droughts and floods, which you're going to have in climate change, it's going to wipe out monoculture. What you need is robust, lots of different plants all together, complementary, your own composting system, so that you can live off the land. And they've shown that the green wall that they've thrown billions of pounds at, they also do throw billions of pounds in the Middle East on projects to wash out the salt deposits. Huge amounts of water they put down to wash out the salt deposits, which burn plants. But the fact is those salt deposits contain nutrients, and when the fungus lodges and connects with them, it provides nutrients to the plants. You don't need to wash it away. It's got what the plants need.
That's what I'm saying. I told you already, you know. I'm going to create my Wakanda. And this is going to be one of my first individuals.
Tell me what
He's going to be my think tank.
What's your perfect utopia?
He's in my think tank. He's in my think tank. That's what I'm saying. You can talk, but he's in my think tank.
What's your perfect utopia, bro?
Cultural appropriation again.
And what's that mean? Cultural appropriation.
Who are the first people on the planet doing agriculture?
Oh, but he's not appropriating it, he's explaining it.
Bruh, you don't need to explain nothing to us. You get me? We've got the Nile. We had the Nile, my friend. My friend, we had the Nile.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying he didn't go about it. He told him about it.
It's just the idea that the plough, which is a symbol of...
No, I'm saying agriculture, the root of agriculture, they say in the Fertile Crescent is where it started 40,000 years ago. Who the fuck was doing it 40,000 years ago?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that's what 45. I'm just saying that he was telling him about permaculture.
Forces that we don't even know.
So, do you think they were doing that back then?
They didn't need to back then. They didn't need to.
So they irrigated the land and changed.
In these systems, you don't need to irrigate.
What?
Because what you have is you have the mulch on top of the soil.
If you have the pure river, if you have a pure water source, you get what I'm saying, of clean fresh water, what do you need to do all that for? Right, you just do what you're supposed to do, as in each side of the supposed Nile, you irrigate the land and do your farming, yes?
Yeah.
Thank you. So this is, and the thing is, because of this Nile and the produce it produces, It feeds Europe, and it's feeding Europe since the Roman times and before. Do you know what I'm saying?
All I'm saying is where you...
I don't know, man.
Plants will grow where you don't get water. You know, they'll find in their roots.
That's a science as well.
And so you can, in most places, you can
That's
do
a science.
well with just with the
We can grow
moisture
fruits
and
in the desert. I mean vegetables in the desert.
So to begin with, for the first 5 years,
Who?
you need
Me?
a source of irrigation water, and you need to import mulch. So mulch doesn't cost. Mulch is just green, rotting down material.
And you can turn deserts into
oasis. Yeah.
Okay.
We did that already, man.
Look at the green.
We did that.
Greening the desert.
When they went by
So why
satellite.
don't we do it again then?
I said when they went by satellite and they started to look at the schematics of Egypt and the surrounding area, you could see they did that. They irrigated. They brought the Nile right up to the edge of the pyramid and all of that
They're
type
doing it in
of stuff.
Ethiopia now. They don't call it permaculture.
My
It's
brother.
the same principle.
My brother.
Love, hey, nice speaking to you, man. I really appreciate it, man. Love, I'm gonna make it a short. Yeah, love. I'd like to talk to you again soon, man. Yeah, definitely. We had a good conversation, man. So hopefully again.
No, Kalam. Oh, Kalam, that's right.
As for you,
mistaken identity.
as for,
Sniper.
I'm joking,
You're
man.
right, sniper, come on.
Listen. We gotta have more of these discussions in future. You don't take anything personal.
No, I just-
What I say to you, bruv. If it blows your mind, then we have that conversation.
I just got.
You understand?
As I
'Cause
said,
that's what it's all about,
as I said,
innit?
apologist thing for the European.
Is
he
that
can
what
talk
you
for
think I am?
himself.
Wait.
He can talk for himself
Let me
still.
get that.
He can
You
talk
think-
for himself.
He said I'm an apologist for the European.
Yeah, man. You're like, why are you doing this to the? Why are you saying this about the European? Why are you saying this about white folks? Why are you saying this and this?
Because we live in England, bro.
No, but if you're making an observation, that's not a complaint, bro.
No, I'm confused there. But
you
what
know
I'm
how
saying
people
is
suffer from Stockholm Syndrome as well. You know?
Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Cold.
Who?
It's
Who suffers from Stockholm Syndrome? Not me, I'll tell you that right now. What is
I don't
that?
know, man. I don't know.
Go and tell me.
Who could possibly be suffering from Stockholm Syndrome?
because look at what happened in America, yeah? This
go
week,
Let
yeah?
me
The
come
case
round
of,
there, sorry.
That case of Jason
know.
Hoffman
He's gonna
and
explain.
that woman,
Right.
Amber Graham, that
Yeah,
killed the guy.
yeah.
She got given 10 years, yeah?
Libby.
It's like a slap on the wrist.
Libby.
And then the brother of the guy that was killed was asking to hug the woman. How can I hug you, please? I forgive you.
Yeah.
That is Stockholm Syndrome because
yeah.
you're unable to identify your oppressor.
Yeah.
You're unable to identify
You get
who
me?
is
You kill my family. You kill my family. Look.
can I
Mad
go
thing.
there? But
Come
then
on.
what happened after
Sickness.
that? A day after, one of the witnesses in a case, he was so-called black, was shot, killed. So you are forgiving a set of people who are not willing to forgive.
I didn't say forgive
So you
anything.
need to identify
Right.
what you're putting your energy
Right,
into.
then let me put.
where it can come back
I
to
know
you
why
as
I'm
well.
putting my energy. Let me explain something to you now. Right.
Go.
You said I was Stockholm Syndrome. Not that I've got Stockholm Syndrome, but
No, I'm saying people-
you ident-
people do suffer from
people,
Stockholm Syndrome as well.
yeah,
People do.
where they would say, "Oh, I'm not identifying what happened in the what happened in the
No,
day."
I mean that you're having infatuation for your oppressor.
All right, right. Now let me explain something to you. The point what I'm thinking is that we can't change the past. I'm not saying, just like the Jews say, never forget. The Jews say never forget, innit? Or on the thingy it says lest we forget. The nationalists,
I hear you.
lest we forget. I'm telling you, never forget what happened to you as a people and what happened to us as a people in Africa. Those kind of things. That's not. I'm not trying to forget those things. Let's get that clear, straight. Let's get that. The next thing I'm gonna say is you can't change the past. As in fact of this guy here never enslaved me. This guy here never enslaved me. That's a fact. Do you understand? The people that live in this country, yeah, of a certain age, didn't enslave me. Do you understand? In us moving forward, if you're just demonizing a people, this is my point of view, yeah, my personal point of view. If you're just demonizing people and just saying from the past, and these people are the same age as me, younger than me, like poorer than me, how can you put what those people done back in the day on the people that are alive today.
Okay, so what happened in the past was done on the basis of white supremacy, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so they went around and the doctrine of discovery, etc. Yeah, as so-called white. Because I don't believe anyone is white or no one is black whatsoever. These are just the terms that they've used in order to
separate us,
to go around and subjugate us, right? But there is something that we call a legacy, yeah, of slavery and colonialism as well.
You need to come more
so
closer
the legacy
to the mic. Just come closer to the mic.
Come round here.
You don't want to be on the camera.
Oh, you're on my camera.
Turn sideways. Turn sideways.
You're literally on my camera.
This side, yeah. So, yeah.
So,
you go back to the camera.
My YouTube's cool, man.
Is that correct?
So the legacy of those events still have an effect today.
100%. I'll agree with that.
Because it's not as if it just happened for a period of time and then that's it. And then fast forward 400 years and then now we're still complaining about it. No, it was a continual ideology because it was linked with the way the Western society was thinking. It was linked with how every single country came together actually to do that. You know, whereas in West Africa, for example, people don't really mention that, but you have Sweden, for example, been there. You know, as part of colonial power. You know, Scandinavian countries being there as part of colonial power. But now, what we have to deal with is a sort of like revisionist approach to history. Yeah, when we gotten into history, we can't just whitewash history or beautify the whole thing.
I'm not trying to do that either.
Or blackwash it either.
I'm not trying to do that either. But I'm saying we have to move forward.
So we have.
Don't misinterpret what I'm saying.
In order to move forward, you need to understand the past because the past still affects your present. And in order to move forward, you need to be able to control your present, right? So that's what we're talking about. The past was made on white supremacy, and white supremacy is still ruling today. It's not something that's gone and we can't feel the effect of it. Yeah?
Don't you think it's more of a class thing?
But the white supremacy is morphing now. Yeah, it's morphing into different aspects, right? You have neocolonialism, you have the system of class. Yeah, whereas before the European powers were coming in for the benefit of the country, but now it's for the benefit of the few. Yeah, so you have a class division that's happening where the leaders are turning against their own people as well.
I don't know if it ever did. I don't think in Victorian times people were better off in the 19th century in the UK than they were in the 18th century.
On what sense?
Well, I mean, you had the Enclosure Acts in the 18th century, so people were forcibly removed from the land. Many people were enslaved. Many people were press ganged, rounded up to go into the military and into the navy. They had no choice. They were just captured. And people no longer had places to grow their own crops and feed themselves and their family. They were itinerant labourers. They had no security.
So go into the navy and not being able to grow your own crops is equate to people being in constant subjugation, where they wake up in the morning, have to go to the field, night have to go to a shed somewhere, and they have to do that constantly. Yeah. So we can't really put that as an equivalent. Yeah. To not to justify, but to kind of like minimize what we are facing from our perspective, because what came to us was white supremacy. What came to us was an ideology that God is white.
Yeah, but you see those guys who are on the boat.
No, but that's what came to us.
Yeah, but you see the guys who are on the boat who were press ganged. If they disobeyed any order, they'd be keel-hauled. They'd be killed just flat, straight.
Where our brothers and sisters were being captured, the priest will stand and bless the boat and bless them before they get onto the boat, and they're not even sure they're going to make it on the other side. Yeah, and not just the men, but the women as well. You know what I mean? So that system is what we're talking about. Yeah, and then nothing that happened internally here would sort of minimize the impact of what happened. So we're talking from a point of knowing history and knowing the impact that history has until today, because that system morphed into colonialism and then neocolonialism as well. So now we have to deal with neocolonialism, which uses our own people against us. Because today we can't vote for let's say a president that we want to be in power, because once it happens, they get eliminated 2-3 months later.
Right.
Somehow.
Listen, I understand. Listen, we can talk
and
a
then
lot.
that happens
Sorry.
many times. You know, we've seen that with Lumumba, we've seen that with Thomas Sankara, we've seen that with people that wanted to change, but somehow the CIA, whatever, they'll do stuff to get rid of that. So this is sort of another system that we have to deal with, right?
All right. You seem like an intelligent man, and you seem like you look at things you critically and stuff. Do you feel like a lot of people could be using you? It sounds to me, from me personally, that you're making a lot of excuses. Do you think that?
In what sense?
In the fact of, are we being colonialized? We've been. This has happened to us. That's bad.
Excuses for what?
Excuses for the way we're seen in society. Excuses for, in my opinion, the black community is probably looked at probably the worst by all other races, to be honest with you.
But I've never mentioned about the way we've seen in the society. What I just mentioned is to state what the system was, what the system did, and the impact of the system today.
I agree with that. How do we move forward, though?
I've not mentioned anything about, you know, how I'm seeing today. On the
how do we move forward?
At the moment, as it stands,
we need to reconcile with the past. So reconcile with the past in truth and sincerity. So there are areas that are that when you talk about it today, you get people saying, oh yeah, you're having a victim mentality because you're always talking about the past. But if you can't reconcile with the past, you can't be even thinking about moving forward, because what you do, you're just moving, you just going.
But how do you know that? That's your own fit. You know what? It's an amazing. It's a saying. I heard that saying a lot. That you have to know where you come from to know where you're going.
No. Reconcile with the past. It's not where I come from.
Okay.
I'm a Hebrew, right?
But what do you mean by reconcile? Okay. What do you mean by reconcile with the past?
Reconcile with the past is looking into the past with truth and sincerity, right? Looking into the past and what Europeans have done in the past. The Arabs have done in the past, and then look at the impact of that, of what those two civilizations have done into us, and then we can tell now, okay, this that happened, this is the reason why people react that way. But how can we do different now?
Well, if you talk about recent history,
before you do that, you need to understand how that impacted us, because our community, we're having lots of bullshit with our community.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Know that, yeah.
So we need to fix it. In order to fix it,
we need. That's going on now.
Exactly. In order to fix it now,
we
need to find out what are the things that put us into this predicament.
Fix knife
in order
crime.
To move forward.
Yeah, to fix knife crime. Which is a big problem in London. Yeah. Do you believe that you have to know about slavery and stuff like that to be able to fix knife crime?
I kid you not, it's related. It's related if you study history, but right now there are more impactful ways of fixing
knife crime.
Exactly.
Crime. So why are we having so much?
That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't have a revisionist approach to it. The past shouldn't stay in the past. If you don't know the past. If you don't know the past, why would you put it on the side?
I'm saying that you should know the past. I totally agree with you. You should know the past. Never forget. Like I said, lest we forget, never forget.
But you had to take the conclusion.
Yeah. You have to take the conclusion from that, from understanding the past.
But I understand
you need to engage into a process of understanding the past.
The problems of black people, nowadays, mainstream media portraying black people like thugs.
I don't even see our people as black.
Huh?
I don't even see our people as black.
Isn't one of the big
but
problems?
Maybe you can use that word colloquially.
Isn't one of the big problems, though, that most of the ruling elites in Africa are educated in, like the UK, in public schools, or in America?
No, that's not really a problem, because I remember in the 70s and the 80s, let's say Congo used to have a very, very good universities where people would fly from all over Africa, go to a university in Lubumbashi, for example. Yeah, but that's not a problem. It's not about being educated.
No, it's about eating.
about-
It's a very certain type
it's
of
about-
privileged education where
It's not even about-
all the MPs pretty well in Parliament are educated in Eton.
it's not-
So I'm talking about that kind. I'm not talking about general liberal education.
The African president being educated at Eton doesn't really change anything. What the problem is, those Africans, those so-called African presidents are working for the white supremacist government.
Why is everything so white supremacist?
Because they're the ones that are putting those
No,
people
but it's in
in
your
place.
mind though, bro. You can go and put yourself in a power position. If you want
So-
to go, if you had instead of blaming,
It's in my mind, right?
It's the introduction of
people today,
monoculture.
I'll tell you, people today, in lots of parts of Africa, in South America, in North Africa, yeah. But let's say in North America, let's say Africa, yeah. People go to a church on a Sunday, and there's a picture of a white God in front of them.
So what?
Is that in my mind or is that something?
Who cares?
So is it
insignificant to me?
Is that in my mind?
No, it's
Or
not
is
in
that,
your
is
mind.
that something that is real?
It's real.
So that's a system that's been created for them to represent the highest form of consciousness
I know, but if you can
as a white
understand that,
person,
if
right?
you can understand what they're doing,
This is
why
why
don't you
we're
just
here.
ignore it?
But this is what
it's true.
ignoring doesn't cure. If you're ill,
Well, there's
if
enough
you-
of
no,
you
listen,
ignoring.
If
Yeah.
you're ill today, yeah, you have a wound, yeah, you've been bit by a dog. Can you just ignore it?
Yeah, we're talking about something
No,
mental.
but can you
No,
just
you
ignore
look
it?
for the
Mental and physical is
antidote, don't
different.
No, but can you just ignore it?
No.
Mental health is a
That's
is,
not a
is-
good. That's not a good
listen,
thingy. But no, you can't ignore it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go along with your thing.
Yeah.
You can't ignore it. No.
Because what happens in the mental is more important than what happens in the
Alright,
physical
how do you
realm.
fix your mental?
So by having, for you, for example, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it seems like whenever I talk about
Just
white
keep someone's
supremacy,
gonna walk
you're
off with it.
uneasy with it.
I don't feel like anyone's supreme to me.
And then,
I'm uneasy
but
with
that's
it.
not, that's not what I'm saying.
I don't. Yeah.
There is a system of white supremacy.
Okay.
Historically, that system was.
I wouldn't say it's white supremacy nowadays.
But that's according to you because you are uneasy with it. You're not really comfortable talking about it.
I'm comfortable talking about it.
But I am comfortable talking about it. That system had the blessing of the church.
Okay,
of the
yeah, I
Catholic
agree with
Church,
that.
yeah?
I agree with that.
It was a system with the political ideas and ideological ideas based on Christianity. That's the reason why in Africa today, you have people who feel that they are less. Some people feel that they are less, yeah, on the subconscious. And then they worship a white God, they think it's okay. But when you open the scripture, you open the Bible, and you actually see God is black, so-called black.
But what does it matter?
Yep, listen. The reason why it matters, yeah, because you are regaining your culture. You're regaining who you are, first of all, yeah? Because the real revolution happens in mind. First, before anything else, you have to change your mindset.
100%, and that's what I want to come to with the.
used to say,
This is what I'm talking about with the.
Listen, yeah.
What you say?
You have to change your mindset, so your mindset doesn't work with a white supremacist framework. Because
I don't
that's a
think my mind
legacy.
does.
Because we lived in.
Thank you, Mr. Rax. Big up man like Mr. Rax, a good man right there.
We lived in various countries around the world, so we can testify of the impact of white supremacy into the world.
I got one question for you.
Yeah, let me shake this
Do you
man's
play
hand.
for this team?
No, it's not even a team. It's a bape kind of thing. It's just like, you know.
Okay, babe, innit?
Yeah.
I thought it was a football
It's like a
team,
football.
I
It looks like a football.
Yeah.
Swag,
Do you
innit?
play for it? Do you play for it?
That's the sunrise.
Do you play for it?
Come on.
Bruv, don't
I'm
make me bring a
Nigerian,
ball.
bruv.
Don't make me bring a ball down there next week. You tried to embarrass me. You tried to embarrass me. No, listen, you tried to embarrass me through a speech, but it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work. I'm gonna put that there. And then next week, you're gonna come with the football. I'm gonna embarrass you with the football.
Subscribe to Nawabi and Sniper TV. Subscribe to content over everything. And big up my man.
What about subscribe?
Man.
What about subscribe?
Subscribe, man. Come on, like and subscribe. You're on there already. They're already on there, man.
Blessings.
Come on, man.
Appreciate it.
170 people.
Come on, we're doing the
Love,
thing.
man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day, yeah?
Yeah, you too.
Laters, bro.
I want to
Laters.
listen. What do you think about
It's thinning out a bit here. Sorry, brother. I really apologise. What was you saying?
I don't even know.
Oh, right. All right. Let me break it down. Let me break down another point to you.
But you
then.
keep saying it's in your mind. I'm talking about a system that you can study yourself, but you are being reductionist in your approach. And take something.
I'm saying
that
the
is
system's
so
not as strong.
important.
I'm saying the system's not as strong as you imagine it to be.
Something that is so important that affected so many people.
I know it did.
That killed millions of people.
Killed millions.
And you keep saying it's not as strong.
No, listen, this is what I'm trying to say to you. I was born in 1978.
It's not about you, bro. It's about the collective.
I know, but you're going back to something that you don't know nothing about because you wasn't a slave.
What do you mean I don't know anything about it because I wasn't a slave?
You wasn't a slave. You didn't live it.
Because I wasn't a slave.
All right, you didn't live it.
Because
I apologize. I
because
apologize for that statement.
Because I wasn't a slave, I can't relate, or I can't even talk about what happened.
You can talk about it, but you can't. You never experienced it.
I'm a slave.
It's like me going to a country. It's like me talking about a country where I've never been to. Like you talk about Africa, saying I've never been to Africa. I've never been there.
So you can't talk about things that you haven't experienced, right?
No, I can't.
According to
You can.
But why are you saying that to me now?
No,
About
I'm saying
slavery?
it to you because you. That's all you seem to be talking about.
But that's the subject of our conversation. If you ask me about football, we talk about football.
Right, now this is the second question I want to ask you. Wait.
Don't deflect.
I'm not trying to deflect. No.
Don't deflect.
I'm not going to deflect.
Don't
The
deflect.
second bit that I was going to ask you.
Don't deflect. The reason why this conversation always happens because it's linked to our current reality.
Right, now listen.
Other people,
Not to me.
Other people around the world, they can allow themselves to have a privilege, to reminisce, into the past. Yeah, they can go back 50 years. They can go back,
Not all
100
black
years.
people were
Hold
slaves
on,
though,
hold
man. Come on, man. This slave ideology.
Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah. I want to listen this. It's very important. I think.
Other people have a fortune of having a good nostalgia, where it's not limited into the past, right? Some people can be nostalgic of their past 150 years ago, Other people, as soon as you go back 50 years ago, those are, oh fuck, we were enslaved in our own country. 60 years ago we were enslaved in our country. 100 years ago, oh shit, people was just taking us from one side to another, and things like that. So nostalgia for you, not you personally, but not you personally, but for someone,
my grandma
is different.
She was in a matchbox factory.
Not you personally, not you personally. Nostalgia for someone, is different for another person. But we're talking as a collective now, right? As a collective, nostalgia for the people of our countries is different from the nostalgia of people for these countries, right?
Yeah, but that's an illusion, though,
It's not an illusion, it's facts, because when we reminiscing about the past, when we try to go back into the past about what our ancestors have done,
try and bring in the
there are elements that happens where white supremacy was always present for 500 years plus.
I know, but I'm just saying the energy what we're putting into this white supremacy is gonna drive me. I'm like, yo, you're making me feel enslaved right now.
Because you speaking to people who spent time to research, and then to educate people on the subject, right? But if you are this kind of person that don't want to get the history about it, that's fine.
I listen.
You don't have to
fully.
take it.
No, but this is what I'm
not forcing you.
No, this is my next part of the question. Do you believe that you're mentally enslaved?
No.
Do you believe that I'm mentally enslaved?
You cannot face us face to face.
I don't know you well enough, but I feel like you have a sort of like a bit of a Stockholm Syndrome.
A bit of a Stockholm Syndrome. Like I was trying to say, in the fact, when I say things, and I say it from a white person's perspective and that, I'm just highly aware of the fact. Listen to me. I'm highly aware of the fact that I live in England. That's why I say it from the main people who lives in this country. If I was in Japan, I'd be saying it from a Japanese point of view and saying, oh, but the people in this country feel this way, or the people in the thing. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to look back at past things that have happened to black people and say, forget about it. Let's move forward. I'm saying you can't change.
You did say that.
No, not forget about it. No, I did not. Don't lie. Let's move forward. That's very different.
And you said it wasn't as strong as you make it to
That's
be.
very.
You make it out to
all right,
be.
listen. Let's move forward and forget about it.
No,
It's
not
two
forget
different
about it. I'm
things.
saying you
Yeah,
said
alright.
let's move
But when
forward,
you
right?
say that I've got, you feel like I've got a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome, if I would have said forget about it, then I could understand why you would say that. But when I'm saying,
not necessarily.
Right, when I say to you something like never forget, lest we forget, never forget what happened to us, and not even us, because it didn't happen to me.
How can it
never happened to me, and it never happened to you.
How can you not forget something you don't know?
Huh?
How can you not forget something you don't know? Do you know all the intricate parts of slavery?
No, I do not know the intricate.
Exactly.
I can only ever imagine.
So people talking about it, and then you're like, oh my God, you're making me feel enslaved right now.
No.
This is part of the conversation. Because we're bringing out information about it.
I'm always willing to learn about slavery, more about
but
slavery.
It seems like when we talk about it, because it's a subject matter of the conversation, right? When we talk about white supremacy, etc., and what the impact in our lands, you always have a sort of like the opposition to it.
Yeah.
Even though that's the subject matter of the conversation.
What you gotta understand is,
if you want to talk about something else, then we'll talk about something else.
What you gotta understand
You know
is,
what I mean?
I'm not approaching
if
this.
it's a subject that you feel uncomfortable with,
I don't
that's
feel
fine.
uncomfortable with
It seems
no
like you're
subject.
uncomfortable with it.
Why would I be uncomfortable?
Because every time it's been mentioned, you're trying to discard. You're trying to put it away.
I'm saying we got to move forward, and this is the reason.
See, that's the talk.
Yeah, no, but you're taking it as.
You don't
How
wanna
can you
face
take?
it.
How can you take?
Face it.
How can you take someone saying we've got to move forward as Stockholm Syndrome?
Because
Like, are you
don't
crazy?
want to face the facts.
I am facing the facts. I'm saying never forget.
You're not facing the facts because every time I'm talking about it, you're like,
Never
oh
forget.
yeah, you feel like I'm
No, I'm
slaving.
saying never forget. Never forget the wrongness. Teach the wrongness. But it seems like it's all that you're
Listen,
doing.
Slogans, they sound good, but they're not practical, right? Because some people today are still living in that reality of them being affected by these supremacist ideologies and frameworks until today. So your slogan
in Africa,
your slogan. If I go to they're
not slaves anymore.
If I go to a village, in the Amazon, for example, in the forest, just tell them, oh yeah, let's move forward. Never forget. But the people in the Amazon are living the reality. Multinationalist companies
in this country
are taking away their land every day.
Are you living in
This
that
is what
reality
we're
in this
talking
country?
about, right? So you can't use that slogan because it sounds nice and then just go.
I live in England. Are you living that reality in this country right now?
Slogans are nice, but they're not practical.
I can find 20 white people that are poorer than you, though, bro.
But that's not the subject matter.
Well, you're talking about slavery. We're talking about how well off you are.
That poor white person, that you can find, has got no impact on the system of white supremacy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's a class thing nowadays.
The
To be
poor
honest
white
with you.
person has got no impact on the system of white supremacy.
I'm overdrawn. I just do a gardening job, but I do feel like I've got an effect.
On the system of white supremacy.
Yeah. We're working. We're going to be occupying tomorrow. We start occupying for 2 weeks, and we're going to take 12 sites in London.
What I'm saying.
But there is going to be a space for people called Global Justice.
You don't understand what I'm saying.
Which is all about.
You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying you can find 20 poor people, right? I'm saying those 20 poor people, white people, so-called whites, don't have any impact of the white supremacist system today going around the world and destroying
I think we
the
can,
world.
though. I think we can.
Practically.
No, I think we can.
You're assuming, but I'm talking practically.
No, I think we are practically. You look at the mainstream system; they're under collapse. That's what Brexit is about. It's nothing to do than anything other than the permeable borders.
But we're talking
other
about
than the
white
permeable.
supremacists.
No, I'm talking. It's got nothing to do
But you're talking
with
about
anything
Brexit.
about the walls of Europe have come down.
But you're talking about Brexit. It's something else.
It's what?
It's something else. It's something other than what I'm talking
cannot,
about.
It's a crumbling of the system. It's a crumbling of the elite system.
No, but Brexit has got to do with internal.
No, because once the walls are down, that's what I'm saying. There's so many people have come from
Europe as
from
a unity,
Africa,
right?
And from the Middle East in recent
Brexit
times.
has got to do with a crumbling of the unity of the European countries, right? But what I'm talking about is
It's as much to do with external pressure as it is to do with internal
But I'm not talking about
pressure.
it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
I
about
think it's the
something
same.
else.
It's
I'm
the
talking
same.
about the system that goes around subjugate other people with policies, with cultural imperialism, for example, yeah, and cultural science, yeah. They're using those little fractions to subjugate people.
You know what's displaced people more than anything else?
I'm not talking about displacement. I'm talking about subjugation.
Same thing.
Because you can
as soon as you move people from their community,
and you can be displaced and still be subjugated.
As soon as you displace people from their lands, they've lost their vitality, and they're likely to become subject to enslavement.
What did I say about the Amazon, people in Amazon, and then losing their lands? I used that example already, but you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Tell me please more about this. So they are losing their lands. How do you mean?
Soya production in the Amazon basin, destined mostly for animals for cheap meat in the Western Hemisphere. But they don't talk about that.
I think it's more a cultural thing, especially in this country now. It's not a thing where black people are being oppressed by a system. There's poor people on the estates. You go on any estate in London and there's just poor people of all races. Do you understand? You finished? You finished?
We're talking about white supremacy, yeah? Its inception in the Renaissance era.
I'm just talking about in this country today. I don't know about all this Renaissance area and all this stuff like that.
Because you're not willing to understand the past.
I am willing to understand, but I'm not willing to stand
there
for hours.
We didn't have migrant tribes in this country since before the Normans. Before the Normans, you had freedom of tribe movement. Subsequent to the Normans, you had aristocracy rule.
When was that?
That was in 1066. The Battle of Hastings.
1066, you didn't have any.
So there was no longer free-moving tribal people in the same way that there had been before. Land was demarcated, and the Magna Carta was created. It was all written down, how many sheep you had, how many this, that. From that time, you had the serfdom system, which is a slavery system.
But I feel like...
And then it got worse. It got worse.
Because I feel like my friend here, you're uncomfortable talking about certain things.
I'm not uncomfortable talking about nothing.
Because
you knew where I come from, bruv. You know I ain't comfortable talking. I'm not uncomfortable talking about nothing. Why would I be uncomfortable talking about what? Look. You see my face? It's on camera live. I'm
talking about a system.
I understand the system. I understand.
But then you're taking it to heart.
I know, but what you're doing, shall I tell you what you're doing?
You're taking it to heart.
I don't take nothing to heart.
Started with the herds people. The herds people.
What's the herds people?
Well, the Judeo-Christian religion. It's the herds people's religion. Now, we never were meant to take milk. We were never meant to take milk from the teat of another mammal.
According to
the
who?
milk consumption.
According to who?
Most people are lactose intolerant.
Sorry about the cigarettes.
Most people are lactose intolerant around the world.
No.
The people who started taking milk, it's only maybe 10,000 years ago. They're part of the Aryan race that came down the Nile, that came down into the Indus, and all the Judeo-Christian religions are based on animals, animal slaughter, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't known. It wasn't known in the Americas. It wasn't known in large parts of Africa or the majority of Asia. And that's why they're not lactose tolerant. They're not lactose tolerant.
Can I say something? Wait. No, stop.
So those religions are the herds people's gods.
No, you're not talking about lactose intolerant.
The patriarchy.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. No.
Beginning of the patriarchy.
Stop.
No, hold on. Let me go back to his point.
You're talking about lactose intolerant. You're trying to say that I'm scared to talk about things.
Northeast Africa, which I believe Israel is part of it as well, yeah? We always used to slaughter animals.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Middle East, Europe, the Middle
East. There's no such thing as the Middle East.
Down the Nile.
That part of the Middle East,
across through Afghanistan, down through the Khyber Pass.
Animals used to be slaughtered
into the Indus.
From the dawn of time.
Look, I'm talking about what's going on.
Yeah, because it's part of our culture.
The herds people's culture. The herds people's culture.
Yeah, I remember. Listen.
I'm a Hebrew. I'm not a herds people.
Herds people, Hebrew.
No.
You're not talking about. Listen.
I won't let someone define who I am.
You can't say things like this.
I'm not defining you. I'm just talking about.
You're saying to me that I'm scared to talk about things. Wait, no, stop. You're saying that I'm scared to
I
talk
didn't
about
say
certain
scared.
things,
I didn't
or
say
I don't
scared.
want to talk about certain things. I
No,
think
didn't
that's
say
wrong.
Scared.
All right,
I
not
said- I
scared.
said-
All right, not
I said
scared.
you have a tendency of.
All right, I have a tendency.
Said, oh, let's move forward.
All right, listen.
Let's move
You
forward.
can see my face. My face is on YouTube live, yeah? And then you lot are changing the subject and talking about lactose intolerance when really and truly, I'm in front of your face with my face. Your face ain't on the camera. My face is on the camera, so I feel that it's really a liberty. When you say to me, I'm scared to talk about certain things, I will talk about it. All right, not scared. I'm ready to talk about anything. Next week, we come back, listen to me, look in my eye when I'm talking to you, bro. I'm willing to talk about anything, anytime. The first day that I put my face on the camera, I was willing. I made
Are you
the
willing to
decision.
talk about white supremacy?
I'm willing to talk about white supremacy now.
Yeah, I'll talk
right
about white
now.
supremacy,
What about
yeah.
white
Okay.
supremacy?
What about
Are
the
you
Rothschilds?
willing?
And what
Are
about
you
Soros
willing?
and all them?
Are you willing to put your face on the camera?
Yeah.
It's ready on the camera.
What about the Queen?
See,
Yeah.
me no afraid to put my face on the camera. Cause yo, when we are talk about God and talk about truth and history,
Leon, can I do this?
We put our face on the camera.
See, cause we know nothing to hide. I am not ashamed of the gospel.
We stand on our square.
That's right.
You can't.
Me find out something today, and me I say it on your TV live now.
Blessings.
Me stand up right here and hear a fellow Israelite of mine say that Mary had sex with Jacob, so Jesus Christ is not the son of the Holy Spirit. These men are blaspheming, and me don't talk. Me no want no more.
God! Yo, my brother.
Yo, content over everything.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Blessed.
Right. As I was saying to you, my face is on the camera, as you can see. Yeah. Your face
So is
is
my
not
face,
on
innit?
the. No, your face.
Yeah, it is.
only a
I
little-
just checked it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Your face is on the camera now, but you didn't want your face on the camera.
No one did at the beginning.
No
They're
one.
shy,
I
you
don't
know,
mind having my
they're
face
shy, that's
at the
all.
beginning. I don't mind having my face on the camera, which means I'm willing to talk about anything. Don't get it twisted. Like, I'm not trying to protect anyone. The truth is the truth. At the end of the day, do you understand what I'm saying? And when you come across and you say, I can't even remember my point.
Stockholm.
Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome.
Because that's
and
what
your
the system
face.
creates.
No, but listen, see, I'm not blaming no shit. Listen, I'm a critical thinker,
That's
bro.
what the system
Listen,
creates.
that's how you diagnose me. You diagnose me as possibly having Stockholm Syndrome by not.
I said a bit of it. I said a bit of it.
Because I love my oppressor.
I mean, yeah, that's
I
that's
don't
what
see.
Stockholm
Alright,
Syndrome is
listen.
actually, yeah.
I don't see me living in this country and the people, not the government,
not all them
as
lot.
my oppressor. The people in this country are not my oppressor. The government in this country are my oppressor, but they
Most
are
people-
also. Wait, let me finish. They are also
when
the
we talk about the
oppressors.
system,
No, let me
most
finish.
people care for
No,
their
let me
families,
finish. I
don't
learned
they?
a lot
Most
about
people care
Speaker's
for their
Corner.
families.
I got to
That's-
get my
that's
point
the
across.
reality.
But we talk about the system, and then we can't even talk about the
The
system.
people in this country are also oppressed as well, regardless of race, creed, thingy. The people, the classes, the lower classes, in my opinion, this shit's
But that's a different conversation, because let's stay precise in our
Continue on
conversation.
content over everything, yeah?
What I'm saying,
Until late. Have you got
we
much
have to be
full
precise when we talk about certain things, yeah, because you're mixing the people and people being oppressed
and
today.
I still get the chance to make this
white people being oppressed, so-called white people.
I've
yeah?
been very patient.
But I'm talking about the system of white supremacy.
All my crew
Yeah, a
disappeared.
system is a machine.
System. I understand
the system is a
I-
machine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We got to separate the system from the people, though. We got to separate the system from the people, because when you talk, it sounds like you're talking about the system.
Because you have a lot of assumption. Because you process the thing on the emotional side. Again, because assumption comes from
Yeah,
emotional.
it's important, the emotional side though, as
The
well,
assumption
isn't it?
comes from your emotional side. You know what I mean?
I'm not too
So,
emotional.
That's the reason why I was asking to be precise and to stick to what we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about this system that's ravished the entire world until today. Yeah, and it doesn't get talked about a lot because people would rather live in La La Land. You know, they'd rather go clubbing on Friday night. Yeah. Get wasted.
No,
whatever,
I'd rather
yeah?
be in the garden, to be honest.
I know you're different.
Waking up with the birds.
And get
and all
wasted
that.
and all that,
birds, yeah?
smashing
More
guns
than
and
one.
whatever, yeah.
In the trees,
And
you
then-
know.
and then come back on a Monday morning, working Monday to Friday, and etc. Yeah, like just like a routine. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a detachment from reality. But for a lot of people, we still have that reality in us, yeah, where we need to tackle it. Yeah, we've got to tackle that reality because the way we think is different now, as opposed to how we used to think before. Yeah, we're moving up in knowledge.
Yeah.
So we have to get knowledge and then talk about it.
Can I make an invitation to you guys?
Yeah, you
Because I've
definitely
been
can.
waiting for quite a while to make an announcement, maybe 2 or 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
I'm here on behalf of Extinction Rebellion, partly. I've been coming since February, and there's a new action happening as from tomorrow. So I did come with a structure, but the structure's been confiscated by the police because they did a raid down in Lambeth on the lockup. They've taken all the kitchen equipment, all the toilets, my dome, which is a 12-metre dome. It's not mine, it's our dome. But anyway, we're going to set up in 12 different locations. They did a lockdown in April time for 9 days in central London, 4 sites, including Marble Arch. So this time there's going to be 12 sites. And also you've got the animal rights activists, who are quite a big activist community, have joined in solidarity. And also there's going to be a global justice, which is what I wanted to bring to Speaker's Corner. So next door to the Houses of Parliament, there's a stretch of green park called Victoria Tower Gardens. It's right next to, it looks over the Thames. So the global justice is a space that's set aside for people from minorities to come and talk about the impact of climate change on the global south. Minorities, yeah, but minorities in this country. You know? Well, what word would you say?
You can't define someone by minority. You know what I mean?
Well, you define them by religion. I'm defined as a hippie, basically.
Yeah, but minority, it's quite reductionist, isn't it?
Well, hippie means free spirit.
No, but you're defining people. I'm not defining you.
Yeah, I had someone from the police come down here just today, and they said, "You're with them lot. You've got to go over there."
Hey, done that to me at the Tommy Robinson one, funny enough.
And then hippie is not necessarily a reductionist term.
Oh, it's used as a term, definitely in this country.
Really. It's used as a term as
no, absolutely not. It's used as a phrase of a dirty tramp person with long hair, with bare feet, who are living in crooked bowland.
In a different context, then yeah, but you have to have a strong context in order to give that.
Since you had Battle of the Beanfield, when we had the festivals, the free festivals, down in Stonehenge, hundreds of thousands of people gathering around the stones. They cracked down with the army, and they smashed up the system of people who were putting on the free festivals.
But what I'm saying, the term minority is problematic. Whether you like to describe yourself as a hippie,
I'll tell you why. Because there are a lot of people who could get out into the countryside, and they were fueled on alcohol. So the people who were living in the countryside considered them to be quite antisocial. But actually, there were people who were living in the city who just found that they could get out because of vehicles, and they used drugs to fuel them to get out, so they were on psychedelics in people's back gardens. So they got this reputation in Middle England as being dirty, trashy, filthy people, and that's the connotation.
Is that the unwashed,
the crusties, or whatever.
There's a thing as well that I've noticed. There seems to be a massive uproar when it comes to animals. Yeah, but when it comes to human beings,
it's not so much.
No one does the lockdown
I
in
agree.
Central London.
I agree.
No one does anything like that. You know what I mean?
For the first time today, I've agreed with you.
Do you know there was a? Do you know what? There was a victim of Auschwitz, right?
We're wrapping up.
Yeah. Can I just finish on this one? There was a victim from Auschwitz.
I've got to say one more
who became subsequently an animal rights activist, and he said that the Holocaust happened with the animals first. The gas chambers happened with the animals first, and then it came onto the humans.
How can you get from the Holocaust and jump the whole transatlantic slavery, the Arab slavery, whatever, and then
because there's been Holocausts all over.
You have to agree with this man again. You have to agree with this man.
There's always that thing where it doesn't really matter. It's not really part of it, you know. In order to make someone relevant.
Do you believe that an animal experiences pain?
Do you believe human experience pain?
Do you believe that an animal experiences pain? Do you think that an animal feels emotional pain when it's separated from its young? Do you believe that it feels distress? Actually, cows will feel distress when they're separated.
I'm just gonna say, I
want to say one more thing.
I'm gonna say, look it up. The Most High Creator is a so-called black man. Okay. Yahweh Shai, who the world called Jesus Christ, is a so-called black man. Yeah? And the Most High wants the Israelite to wake up, to come back to the laws and statutes and commandments, right? This is what we need, because if we stick to the laws, we're not going to do any wrong to our brothers, yeah? We're not going to do any wrong to our sisters, etc., yeah? We're not going to be stealing our neighbors, whatever, yeah? So we need to stick to the laws, because the laws have not been done away with. The Christian church is a pagan church. That's it.
That's it. Right. All I wanted to say is quite basically, I'm not standing behind no kind of religion. I'm about truth. I'm about bringing people together. I refute Stockholm Syndrome. I refute Stockholm Syndrome.
I'll take it back.
My brother, give me a respect. I refute Stockholm Syndrome. I'm a critical thinker. I'm a truth teller, whether we like it or not, and I'm always willing to learn more. Do you understand? I'm not trying to act like I'm the most smartest person in the world and that. I want to learn more, and I'm here to learn.
Come and check out Extinction Rebellion.
Going to check out Extinction Rebellion. I'm going to check out more on what my man's saying about the Hebrew Israelites. I've done a bit of research about Hebrew Israelites already, and it's about bringing people together. Do you understand? And I'm going to give a little gist about what my thing is, because a man says, why do I always go from the white point of view or the that point of view and not the black point of view?
From your
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen.
Because you could say, well, okay, it's logical that a creator creates son. You could say that potentially. And then you say, well, we're still inferring the motivation of God given to us allegedly by prophets and visions and books and such, which are human products. They're coming, maybe they're said to be came from angels and such, but they're still going through the medium of human, which I don't feel is a necessity for an all-powerful being. It should be able to send it straight to you.